This episode of the Walt podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is a completely free podcasting tool that allows you to create your very own podcast for no money whatsoever.
You know who should have a podcast? It's me, Yogi.
Oh my god, Gorgie, no, what are you doing here?
Yogi heard that people love his voice, so he wants to project it to the world on Apple Music, and iTunes, and Spotify, and Stitcher, and all the places where podcasts are distributed.
Oh my god, Gorgie, no, nobody wants to hear you talk.
Yogi can even make money on his podcast with the Anchor's free sponsorship program.
Wait, you're gonna get paid for this too?
Yes, and it's all possible with Anchor and their free creation tools.
Oof, okay, well, I'll bite. What's your podcast gonna be called, Gorgie?
It's gonna be Yogi Gets It. Available on all podcast platforms thanks to Anchor.
Well, you've heard it here first. Go to anchor.fm to get started. Download the free Anchor app, and you can make your own podcast. Anchor. It's so easy, even Gorgie can do it.
Yogi!
A superpowered family has to rely on the one non-powered family member to save their family miracle.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle, Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 167. What's going on, guys?
it's going. What was that?
Nice. I thought that was coming from the other room.
Did he say eat? This week.
She took the words right out of my
Yeah,
mouth.
she
Saw
did.
that? This week, we are talking about
Just reminding you of your job.
very, very new,
Bye.
but not brand new, but new to Disney Plus.
It's pretty new.
It's new. The new Disney animated film, Encanto.
The newest. The most
Yes.
recently released animated
That's true.
Disney film.
That's the true. the
Encanto.
truth there. This movie came out in 2021. It was directed by Jared Bush, Byron Howard, and Charisse Castro-Smith, with music by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Miranda.
And what's the other dude's name? Jermaine Franco. Jermaine Franco did the score. Lin-Marin did the songs and lyrics. the
Okay,
original
makes sense
songs.
to me.
The score is also nice,
It is.
but I don't know if we'll be talking about the
Right.
score.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs in this particular film, and I have the
Yeah, there's a
soundtrack
good
pulled
amount
up.
of songs.
Indeed.
Sometimes in film you get like three songs. I'm like, what the? I need more songs than that. I don't know. I like songs.
There's not enough songs.
Or there's too many, and one of them was like, why?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But Moana was a good amount of songs. So Lin
Yeah.
Marin did a good amount of songs for this one too. So before we get into this, we shall do the Louis Ask a Question.
Now, why do you do that without asking first?
Well, I already have the question.
Oh,
Because we
I
talked
see.
about it earlier. So I guess it's Michelle asked a question.
There
to
we
you.
go.
Look at his eyes.
But Louis
I
has
don't
to
remember any of this.
Louis has to answer the question.
Were you awake like when we talked about this?
When
No.
was this?
Was
Are
it
you
earlier
talking to
today?
me?
No, him.
Guys, did you actually have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought we
When was this?
I thought he wrote a question out.
Messages.
Oh, you.
I'm at work.
Okay, thanks for screaming at us. No. I was thinking about when you wrote out a question, but you wrote
I
out a
wrote
question for when we're doing the Spider-Man episode.
Yes.
Which
yes.
was
We haven't done it yet.
We haven't
oh,
done
like
it
in
yet.
the past. In
Yeah,
the
no,
future?
that'll be
It's
in
still
the
in the
future.
theater, so we have a lot.
In the past.
And then I had a question last week that I was gonna do. Remember?
Yeah.
But we can do that another time because I want to do this one.
All right.
So,
Poor listeners are so
sounds good to me.
confused.
this is how we roll, you guys. If you're not used to it by now, it's okay. So,
They came to listen to
I
Encanto
found
only.
a BuzzFeed article. It's called 35 Side-by-Side Pictures of Disney Characters and Famous Actors Who Voiced Them. And it was saying, like, these might not be people that you necessarily knew.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that I was like, I did not know that. So when we get to that one, I will say. But I guess we can just go through this. And the first one is just very relevant to what we're doing. The voice of Mirabelle Madrigal from Encanto which Andre had to explain to me a couple times who she was, and then I finally put it together.
Mirabelle is played by Stephanie Beatrice. She's an actress that I know from the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which
But
came out
I
on
knew
Fox.
her from In the Heights.
In the Heights, that's right.
Because she is
was
in that.
movie.
She's in another Lin-Marin Miranda thing.
Lin-Marin Maru.
He likes to cast like
Maru.
people he likes, and he does like the same kind of. Not that he cast her necessarily, but maybe he recommended her or something.
I mean, they definitely worked together.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's so interesting because she usually plays
So
not this kind of character.
in Brooklyn
right?
Nine-Nine, she is a police detective, and she's like the most cold-hearted one on the force or whatever, and she's always in monotone. She's never smiling. She's yelling at people a lot, you know, and she's very aggressive. And so to go from that to the much more bubbly character in the Heights, and then this character in Encanto is she's got range. She's
Good
got
for
range
her.
on her.
Crazy.
Good job, Stephanie.
So this is the one that shocked me, and I want to see if Luis knows this. Luis, do you remember Gil from Finding Nemo? The fish that's in the tank that is all like scarred up? Mm-hmm. Who voices him? He's also an actor in a Spider-Man movie.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
I know.
It's Willem.
But I
You
didn't
didn't
know.
even have to tell me. You just didn't give me a chance.
Okay,
It's
okay.
me.
Sorry.
the
Well,
Green
seriously, I
Goblin.
would've
Sorry.
gotten it. I was like,
Okay, fine. I won't help him anymore.
It was Juan. That's fine.
I literally did not know, but the thing is, I didn't really know who Willem Dafoe was until he watched that dog movie. And,
Togo.
Dog
and
movie?
Spider-Man. Yeah,
Togo.
Togo.
Oh, we did watch that.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, so I wasn't like, who's Willem Dafoe? But after this, I was like, that's Willem Dafoe?
I think we've talked about this before, but one of Luis's best friends
Oh, yeah.
looks like Willem Dafoe. Or, excuse me, he looks like the 30 years younger version of Willem Dafoe. So every time I see him, I'm like, it's Juan. And if Juan heard
Right.
this, he would literally never allow me to go in their house again. Ever.
I'll probably skip some of these because they're like tertiary characters that like you might not know. Like, Luis, do you know who Frank McKay is from Monsters University?
If you show him his picture, he will.
Okay, give me a second.
But I don't know if we'll remember him.
Oh, I showed him the answer on
I
actually.
wouldn't have known who that is, anyways.
He doesn't know who it is, but I guess John Krasinski is in that one, which I thought was
He was
In
one of
Monsters
the
University.
he was one of the NSO people.
Right, and I think we mentioned that on the Monsters University episode.
Man, okay, well, I'm just blanking out. Who plays Dorothea Williams in Soul? She's like the one who plays the saxophone, a girl in the club.
Zoom in on the picture for him.
I can't because last time I clicked the picture, it goes to the
I
first
don't know
one.
who it is.
Don't click it,
I,
just
it
zoom
was. I know who
can't.
Dorothea Williams is. I'm trying to figure out the voice.
This
I haven't-
one.
I haven't watched a lot of TV in a long time. I don't know.
It is Angela Bassett.
It's T'Challa's mom.
T'Challa.
Yeah, I never would have guessed.
Okay, this one was weird. Who voices adult Simba in The Lion King? I don't think I knew this. Maybe we didn't talk about it.
We might not have talked about it. I
Did you
I
know
did
it?
know it though. Yeah.
Did you know this one, Emily, when you saw it?
No.
I didn't know it. Luis, who do you think voices adult Simba in The Lion King?
Which one?
Adult Simba.
Which one?
Oh, the animated one. If you had to guess. I know. It's the dude from Ferris Bueller.
It's Matthew Broderick.
Broderick?
Does he have that voice?
Show him the picture.
I've never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So I don't know like
You've never
what.
seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No, I don't
Excuse
think so.
you?
Oh,
I don't think I have. Like, so I
She
don't know.
also has never seen Back to the Future.
No, I have.
See?
Once, but I don't
See?
really remember it.
Yeah, she. Keeps,
What are you
she
doing?
Keeps, she keeps hitting me with this nonsense.
I wish you guys were viewers and not listeners right now. If you could see what.
Yeah, he's
I-
gonna be the best old man, huh?
I had brought up Back to the Future with her several times. 'Cause
I've
this is
seen
one
it
of
once.
my
I feel like we've
favorite
talked
movies.
about it, and she said she hadn't seen it.
And she
I've
was like,
seen it
I've seen
once.
it. And I was like, well, we gotta watch it. And then we
I don't
were
remember
gonna
it.
watch it at one point, but then I feel like you got out of that somehow. I don't-
We
I don't
started
like it.
watching other things.
He's literally wagging his finger at
watching
her.
John Wick right now. Focus, okay?
You
That's
need to
what we're
watch
on.
that, Mom.
That's true.
Okay, so
You've never seen John Wick.
I've seen 10 minutes, and that's all I need to yeah.
Luis is not wrong. 10 minutes and you're sold. I was sold in the
That's
first
so
5
funny.
minutes. I was like, this is it. This is the bee's knees.
Is this the one with what's his name in that movie that we hated?
The Matrix.
His name is Keanu Reeves.
We all hated
Okay,
that movie.
we didn't
by
like
the
the
way.
Matrix
new one?
4.
The new
Oh
one. We
my
like Matrix.
God.
but
He
we
was
didn't
good
like
in the
new
first
That
Matrix.
was
Everybody
the
leave.
craziest thing
Count
I've
it alone.
ever.
Yeah, so that's why I went
Oh my
back and was
God.
like, okay, we can start John Wick now. It
was a mess.
It was a great decision.
Back to this Disney stuff.
Okay, I'm
yeah.
gonna skip some of
Oops.
these. Okay, here's another one relevant to our movie. Luis, who voices Bruno Madrigal?
Madrigal. Come
Madrigal.
on, Michelle.
Oh,
Bruno
that's what-
Madrigal.
that's,
You called her
Ray
Mirabelle earlier.
Who?
John Leguizamo.
John.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, apparently he's also
Leguizamo.
Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Isn't he in John Wick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
he's in John Wick.
Who is that?
You don't know who this is?
John Leguizamo. He was
Like-
What
Leguizamo?
else is he in?
He was-
I feel like you guys are making up that last name.
no.
Like Leguizamo.
Leguizamo.
He was Luigi in the Super Mario Brothers
Mike
movie.
Leguizamo.
Yeah, he was Luigi in the Super Mario movie. You know?
Leguizamo.
Oh, with his face bigger, I know who that is.
Gotcha.
But I would have no idea who voiced that.
This next one. Okay, I'm going to do it this way, Luis. Oprah plays a character in Princess and the Frog.
I know
That's the
who.
mom, dude.
Eudora.
Yeah, I didn't know that one, I don't think.
Eudora.
No, I don't think I did.
Eudora, Idora.
Eudora.
Let's see. It was my wedding day. Who voices who voices Zazu in The Lion King animated?
Luis's favorite character.
Give me a clue.
Mr. Bean.
You just told me the answer.
Pretty,
Does he
That's
have
not
a
the
name?
answer.
Pretty big clue.
He has a name.
Does he?
but
Pee Wee Herman. What is his name?
His name is Rowan Atkinson,
His name
I
is
guess.
Rowan Atkinson.
You just gave me the answer.
But yeah, you gave him
Mr.
the
Bean.
answer.
You gave me his name in a different movie.
I swear, I have no. I didn't think he had a name. I thought his name was something
I
Bean.
just thought he was a mole that hovered all over Hollywood.
His name is Mr. Bean, okay?
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's
What's his
Zazu.
last name?
What is-
Bean.
I'm trying to think of
I don't know.
the huge movie that I remember him
Oh
from.
my God, that's the face.
that isn't Mr. Bean.
Michelle, who did he play?
Mr. Bean. Oh, Zazu.
He's Zazu. He's Zazu.
Mr. Bean as himself.
Yeah, Mr. Bean as himself.
In his memoirs.
Mr. Bean as Mr. Bean.
What is that?
Johnny English Reborn. I think it was this. I think I saw Johnny English at some point, which is a 2003 movie, so you know it's not good.
I literally only know him from Mr. Bean.
I will lie. I thought he was definitely that was his.
That was his name.
I thought his
that
name
was
was like
Christian name. His first name was Mr. His last name was Bean.
Edward Bean.
Charles Bean at your service.
Sorry, Mr. Bean. Okay. Who plays Mr. Incredible?
Oh,
Some-
I know that
some
guy.
beefy what-
C.P. Riley or something like that.
Close, but I guess it's Craig T. Nelson.
Greg
Yeah, that
T.
guy.
Nelson. Yes. Craig.
Yeah, that guy.
Craig T. Nelson, not Greg. I said Greg. My bad.
I'm skipping some of these. Oh, yeah. Who plays
know who
Raya
Craig T.
from
Nelson is.
Raya and the Last Dragon?
A girl.
A girl.
Is she Asian?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Go Disney.
She is in Star Wars.
She's in a Star Wars movie.
She's in a Star Wars or two.
Okay, I don't know.
Hold on.
We definitely did this episode.
No, I know, but sometimes Luis, whatever your name is. What's your
me,
name?
Andre?
Sometimes,
What's your name?
sometimes Andre will say who the person is, and I
know,
nod
and
like I know
just
who
like,
it is.
Yeah, yeah. It is Kelly Marie Tran. She played
How
Rose.
about you give me a picture?
She played Rose, but she doesn't look like Rose here because she's wearing makeup and stuff.
Who's Rose?
Rose was in
The one that liked Finn,
The Last Jedi,
Asian
yeah.
girl.
She captured
Okay.
Finn, and they went on like a weird romance together in a casino, and they rode like weird horsey thingies.
Oh, okay. Nah, let's make it.
Yeah.
Weird horsey
There you go.
thingies.
There you go.
Okay.
I described the scene perfectly.
I just don't remember.
All right, this is a good one. Who plays Thomas in Pocahontas? This is Thomas, Louise. Thomas, everybody.
Thomas and Pocahontas. He's one of the
I do know who Thomas is.
He's one of the whites in Pocahontas.
Whoa!
And
One of the
he comes
whites.
in, he's digging and stuff.
Hold on, I think I've read this one before
Isn't
and
he
thought
like
it was
the
ridiculous.
nice of the ones?
He's
yeah.
a pretty nice dude. He's like John's best friend. And
Hold on. Oh no, but then he kills Coco.
But then he pulls a gat
Oh, he kills Cocoa?
on Coco.
does.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Dang.
Drop, Coco, get down.
Can I Can I tell you something?
What?
The other day in the grocery store, we're standing there and there's other people around us, and Addie goes out of the blue, "Mommy, why doesn't Pocahontas marry Coco?" Like, because he's boring
Yeah.
and dead.
He did.
Anyways, do you have
Hold
a
on,
guess,
I'm
Louise?
gonna whisper it in your ear.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is Christian Bale.
Oh,
No.
it is.
That's what I was going to whisper in somebody's ear.
He was a younger lad back then, straight off of Newsies, I think. And he
Speaking
did
of younger
Pocahontas.
lads, we watched Band of Brothers, and there's so many actors that are big right now.
Oh, really?
We got
In
Michael
that series.
Fassbender.
I never watched that show.
It was actually really good.
Anyways,
Oh, but dang,
we
you're
go.
right. Tom Hardy was in it. Jimmy Fallon. What? Michael Fassbender. David Schwimmer from
McCovey.
Friends. Dean McDonough. And
McCovey.
McCovey.
McAvoy.
Oh, McAvoy.
There was a lot of famous people in that
Colin Hanks.
Louise should know.
show. The guy
this
who
next
played
one.
Abraham in
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Yeah. That's
Louise,
cool.
Louise should know this one. We didn't put this together until later on. Our Moana episode was real early on.
It was like our second
in this,
episode.
yes.
Oh, I've told him this
Who is
800
the singing
times.
voice of Chief Tui?
Moana's dad.
It is someone.
Boba Fett.
What?
Boba Fett actor.
Close.
I've
Different
only
brown
Well,
guy.
kind of close.
Shut the
He was in.
Oh, no,
I
that's
told
what's his
him this
name.
800
That's,
times.
No,
Saying
no,
you
stop,
like-
stop.
Oh, okay, I'm not gonna
stop,
give him that.
stop.
Shut your lips.
Okay, they're shut.
It is the guy who played George Washington. I don't know his name though.
That's okay. Yes.
You got
you're
it right though. Christopher Jackson.
something.
Christopher
Yeah.
Jackson played George Washington in
I just
Hamilton.
remember having this conversation in Moana, and you were like, "Nah, Boba Fett."
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Who plays Queen Eleanor, Merida's mother, in Brave?
Oh, I know her.
I didn't remember this one.
No doubt we talked about in the episode, but you know,
We
when this was
definitely-
forever ago, I don't remember.
Oh yeah, some of these
Actually-
episodes are forever ago for us.
This is like a
Moana was like number 3, I think.
yeah. I kind of don't remember.
It was his
You
wedding
didn't read
day.
the article?
I looked through it. I skimmed through it. I was like, I know that one. I know that one,
Cat's
I know
up
that
on
one.
a tree. Oh, sorry.
There's a cat in our tree,
Oh.
and there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
allowed in the sky.
That's the best part of
That's the
the
best
song.
part. That's the best part.
You'll wait, say it now.
Thunder.
Look at him. He's still thinking.
Okay.
No, look at him. He's still thinking.
I know.
You look like you were about to say.
It's so bad.
the
It's
answer.
just a long assignment, but
It's okay. He's still thinking.
okay.
He's over there making his thinking faces.
He's making his
He's
Gollum
doing the
thinking
Pooh Bear.
faces.
Tink, tink, tink.
Oh, or Pooh Bear.
Dude, I want to say it's the girl who plays the Queen, who was in
Princess Diaries?
no,
No.
the one who
That's Julie
plays
Andrews.
who was in that one with David Tennant.
Emma Thompson?
Is that what her name is? Birchwood or whatever that was called. Remember the cop?
Emma Thompson. No. Yeah. Emma Thompson.
In
It
what
is
show?
Emma Thompson.
In
Is that who you were thinking?
Let me see.
Emma Thompson
No.
also played the. Wait, actually,
Didn't she play in the live
No,
action
you're
Beauty
thinking
and the
about the
Beast?
lady who played
That's
the
not what I was
queen in The
thinking.
Crown.
That's Corella's mom.
yes,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah,
Emma
Cruella's
Thompson
mom.
played.
Yeah, you were
Cruella's mom in Cruella.
And you're thinking
And-
about the lady who played the queen in The Crown, who was also in Briarwood. No, what was that
I don't
show
know.
called?
Churchwood.
Churchwood with David Tennant, right?
Church-
Church Hill. Church Gills. Church.
Water.
Churchward. Bridgewater. Church. No, that's Winston Churchill.
You're right.
Stop
you're
it.
right. You're right.
Okay, moving on. Who plays?
Broadchurch. It was
Oh,
Broadchurch.
Took me back up to the top of the article. Why? would-
Sorry, Michelle. I was stuck on that
No,
until
no,
we
it
got
just
it right.
it just took me back up.
I feel like the last 3 or 4 episodes
Okay.
I have personally gotten stuck on it until we Googled it.
Well,
yeah. Who plays?
I say that like it's
the
not
main
every day of my
character
life.
in Treasure Planet? Jim.
I don't remember.
Jimmy.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No.
JLG.
The best part is I probably made that same noise the first time.
JGL.
This one I didn't know at the time.
JLG.
I do know now.
Jiggle.
But who plays Kristoff in Frozen?
Oh, we be knowing.
We be know now.
We be knowing.
Ralph.
Mr. Groff.
Mr. Graf.
Mulan,
I would love to
we
see
all
him
know who
voicing it in the
Mulan
box.
is. But
I
you
know,
know,
right?
I think a lot of people probably still don't know who voiced Mulan.
Well, they might not know her because she's not in a lot of huge things.
Yeah.
She's in a lot of bigger things now.
Yeah, Ming Na Wen, the best ever.
But I know her from like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I
Right.
feel like not a lot of people watch that show.
That's true, but she was on The Mandalorian, which is
Yeah.
a big show, and she's now currently on the Book of
And
Boba
she was
Fett.
on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. She was in the new Wait, was that her? Was
For
she
half
in-
a second
Yeah,
in
she was
Mulan.
a cameo in the. live
I'm
action
sorry,
movie.
that was the best part of that whole movie.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Dude,
"Hey, girl!"
Ming Na Wen is the best. Emily, who is the voice of Laurel Lightfoot from Onward, since you like that? The mom.
Laura Lightfoot. I love that girl.
Who voices the mom?
That girl. That gal.
That gal.
Oh, no. I feel like I knew this at one point.
You probably do.
Is there anything in there?
Yeah, there's stuff in there.
Have you seen Seinfeld?
Oh.
Nay. Is it the main lady with the curly hair?
Yee.
Ooh, what's her name?
Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and she
Yeah.
played.
She also plays the new
Isn't that Eileen?
character.
Come on,
Marvel.
Eileen.
I don't think it was Eileen. Hang on, now I need to know.
It says Elaine.
Elaine.
Thank
This
you.
close.
Who she also plays a new character in Marvel.
Oh yeah, she's the Fontaine de Legre.
Yeah,
the-
she is.
Yeah.
Her face.
The Black Avengers?
Yeah,
Or
Dark,
Dark
Avengers. Yeah, the Black
These
Avengers.
I'm
It's Falcon.
skipping.
It's Black Panther. It's who else? War Machine, dog. Let's go. Let's get
Some
it.
of these I'm skipping.
That makes, I was talking about it the other day, and I feel like based on the way things are going, why would we ever see War Machine again?
Oh,
Armor Wars is a show that they've announced for Disney Plus, where Don Cheadle will be playing War Machine, and he's got to go out there and fight some armor wars or something. I don't know what he's doing. But
Okay, I'm cool with that.
But
Okay,
he's gonna
and that's
come out
awesome because I'm thinking like in the MCU for MCU purposes, like Tony's gone.
Tony's gone. His legs are kind of out of commission. I
His
don't know.
legs are gone.
oh dear.
But
Tony Stank is gone.
right.
So what are we gonna do?
Tony Stank.
Basically,
Is that the end of this list? Cause dang.
almost.
Oh.
I'm skipping a lot of them.
Okay.
Luis, I don't know if you'll know the answer to this one, but who plays adult Lewis in Meet the Robinsons? So like when the kid grows up. I didn't know this either, but
my
it's Tom
God.
Selleck.
Tom Selleck is old. How is he playing like a 30-year-old
I
man?
don't know.
He's got a young man's voice. I guess.
Rapunzel. Who voices Rapunzel?
Mandy Moore, homie.
Yeah.
The more
Who plays Kenai in Brother Bear?
Kenai.
Kenai.
Kenai, sorry.
Get it right. Made it tight.
Get it right.
Kenai
Get it right.
from Brother
Meditate.
Bear.
Snoop Dogg. Just kidding.
No.
I know this one, but I don't think I knew it before I looked at this article.
It is. Okay, it is Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
Snappers.
Who
Joker himself.
we
After watching
we
that,
should
I don't
know.
think I can think of him in any other role.
Yeah.
That was so.
It was.
I'm not saying I loved it, but it was
transformative.
it was iconic for him. Like whoa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anywho.
2 more. Who plays Phil from Hercules?
Oh, I know that. I put him in my car.
Who would be Louis?
Danny DeVito.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And then Frozone.
Where are you coming from over there? Oh,
Who be the Frozone?
we know Frozone.
We don't
Doesn't yell, I'll tell you that much.
Samuel
Who
L.
put these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to
Oh
Friday
my
plane?
gosh, be quiet.
Never
gets any less
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I've never seen that movie. Snakes
It's
on a
Monday
Plane.
to Friday.
Maybe I
Plane.
should watch it. All right,
Yeah.
very good.
But can
think
you
you
find
should.
that version?
That's like a TV.
That's like a
version.
TV version because they don't want you to cuss.
Cursing.
Right. So they dubbed over it with other words.
That are
That's
so
the best
I
they
bet you
can come
can
up
find it
with.
on like a YouTube video. Or, like,
Exactly.
Well, yes. So we can post this article for the listeners. I'm sorry, but the Gil one as Willem Dafoe got me. I was like, what?
Nah, you could heck and tell that's Gil.
I was
That's
like,
William.
I was like, what?
You know it's Willem, right, Lou? Like there's no EM.
It's William.
Willem Dafoe.
The
Yes.
Green Goblin.
All right, we are done.
All right. Let's get back to the.
What are we doing?
Encanto.
Encanto.
Whoa.
People, stop whiting it up. Andre,
Andre's
stop
black.
being white.
Encanto. begins with. Oh no, we need to do our first impressions first, right?
It was my wedding day. Yeah, Andre, first impression.
Okay. First impression. This movie is a banger. This is off the chain, and it's quite popular right now. Me and Michelle went to go see this in theaters. We enjoyed it very much upon that viewing, and since then, I have kind of been trying to like not think about it too much because I knew that we were going to do it for the podcast and I would watch it again. But since we went to the theater and us watching it last night, I have heard the soundtrack and seen
What happens
images,
when you're in my car?
but not even just from you.
No, it's amped right now.
It's
Super
everywhere.
popular everywhere. It is in every single
Did you
freaking
see
TikTok
that it-
video.
Dude, every TikTok is being a character.
Yeah,
Mostly
Bruno or
Louisa.
Did you see that We Don't Talk About Bruno surpassed the number of listens that Let It Go had, like,
Right.
at the time?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It is
Not as
not
annoying to
mad
me, though.
about
I'm
it.
not either.
Yeah.
It's not, like, annoying to me yet.
Nah.
You know?
So upon my podcast viewing of this movie, right, a lot of these songs were a lot more in my head than they were obviously before we had gone to see it for the first time. So I think I like enjoyed it that much more because the songs are all bangers, as we'll discuss. But to have them in my head as I'm watching the movie already, it kind of very much enhanced it for me. That I haven't felt like for like a second viewing of a musical in a while. You know? It was quite good.
I agree with you. Upon this viewing, I mean, I felt like I had seen it a bunch because I listened to the soundtrack like all the time, but it's a banger soundtrack. I like to put it on in the car. By the time it's over, I'm at work. You know, it's the best. It's like a really great commuter soundtrack. This movie is just really good. I appreciated it and enjoyed it even more upon the second viewing. It's like up there with like Moana. Like it's good. Like I don't think, and I made the comment to Andre. I said I think this is the best animated movie Disney has put out in a while. Like one that has like banger songs that we want to listen to and like stuff like that. You know, because I feel like we haven't had that in a while. Or maybe some of the Pixar movies that have been coming out have been, you know, not hitting as hard as maybe I thought they were going to, or anything like that. Not that I didn't like Raya, because I did. But this is just so good. It's so good. And I like it. And I already want to watch it again. And it's culturally diverse. And the characters are just awesome. I like that, yes, Mirabelle is the main character, but everybody, like, gets their time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it feels more like a musical.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's
it's
a good point.
Lin-Marin Miranda, so what do you expect?
Lin-Marin.
Emily.
I think this is the first time ever on this podcast where I think Luis and I have watched something more than you guys, or just know it more.
You got those kids.
Oh my God. So the first time we watched it, we were in the theater too, and it was Adeline's first theater experience.
Cool.
So it was very
Cool.
cute. We were sitting like on either side of her, and the whole time she was like, like she was so into it.
Right.
You know, some other kids are like, no, Adeline was stuck eyeballs to the
She
screen.
likes to remind me, I saw it in the theater and I got M&Ms.
Yeah, dude, she
It's a
thought
core
that
memory
was
for her now.
Best day ever.
core memory
Yeah.
for sure. Anywho, so we had a really great time. I cried twice, and you guys know that
I
to
did
me that's
too.
momentous, because when do I ever tear?
She shuts them emotions down.
Screw them, push them down. Surface.
Yeah, it's a tearjerker, man.
Right? So I cried in the beginning because of poor Mirabelle and her, like, you know, well, and the grandma and the grandma dying, and oh my God. And then at the end, ay caramba, it came back with Dos Oruguitas, right?
Oh, yeah, from that part on in the movie, I'm just crying.
Done. So,
No, I don't want to talk about it.
anywho, loved this movie. Upon every viewing, it doesn't get old, really. I shouldn't say that, because probably eventually it will, because both of my kids are obsessed.
Right.
But I really enjoy it. The funnies keep hitting funny.
Yeah.
Like they're very funny. some of the characters are just like I can't wait to hear or see them because they're
Right.
freaking hilarious.
Is it Uncle Tito or
Felix?
Felix.
no, the uncle?
Yeah, Theo Felix.
Theo Felix.
Oh, Tio Felix.
He's
Oh,
my
the
favorite.
best.
Oh my god, Luis and I die every time between him and Camilo.
In the sky. His hips be moving too in that song.
Oh my god, he's so cute. Anywho, I really enjoy it. There's no character that I really dislike. Let's go to Luis though, because Mr. Intense Feelings
I mean, there's definitely a person I dislike.
Well, go ahead and
Go
take
ahead,
it to
Luis.
Lou.
First impression.
I like this movie quite a bit.
Okay.
I think I like it more than Coco.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, Coco's so good too, though.
So this movie is set in Colombia, and they're based on the Colombian culture. And Luis, you're Mexican, right?
Damn, you didn't want to say Hispanic.
No, I meant
Hey,
because he's from Mexico.
Yes.
Hey, he's Mexican, right?
He's
but,
Mexican,
but
right?
I'm saying because like Coco is culturally set in Mexico, but you like this more than that. But are not to say that you connect with this culturally more than Coco, but you like this more.
I like the movie was just better.
Yeah.
They're both really good.
I
They're
think-
just different too.
I think that I too might like this one more, but only like for the purpose that I enjoy this music on a whole more. Like the Coco music is great, don't get me wrong, but this music is like you can put it on and you're dancing in the car by yourself, kind of a thing.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Dang, Lin Marin, doing your Lin Marin
Dude,
things.
when my mom watched it, she called me after and she was like, I can tell it was Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like, they were like rap singing again. I was like, who was? And she was like, the girl that can hear things. And I was like, okay, yeah. But just,
No, your mom's right.
it's his style, man.
She's rap singing again.
So wait, how many times do you think you guys have seen this movie in total?
I think I've probably like visualized watching it. That sounds stupid. Like actually seen it, maybe 3 or 4, maybe like 5 times.
Okay.
That's still a
But
lot
like
more than us.
heard it
I don't
The
know.
kids
how many
have it on
times
all
I've
the
heard it
time.
either.
every time you get in the car. Can we listen to Encanto?
This freaking earlier today I heard it.
Can you listen to Encanto? Which exactly like you're saying, if I put it on here at my house and drive to Luis's mom's house,
Yeah, it's like
it's literally from here to Livingston. Like it's the amount of time, and we have to skip Dos Origuitas because Adeline will cry.
I skip it too.
in the back seat.
I skip it too.
Like,
Dude,
you
I
look
left it
back
on
and she's
today,
like,
I left it on and I was just laughing. I was like, come on, girl.
She
you
was
don't
crying.
care about that.
She does every time.
Yeah, dude. No, I
What
skip
kind
it too.
of dad is laughing at their child?
Because of the faces she's making, because she's forcing herself to
She
cry.
does force herself.
Oh,
Once she
she's
gets
like, oh.
going, she's like,
Sad song is on. I better put on the tears.
Yeah, that sounds like Addie. I love her though. All right, so we've already established that Lin-Manuel Miranda did the music. Okay,
Indeed.
and he did the thing.
he's a genius. He did the thing. You know, he be who he be. But the cast
Oh yeah. We
overall is like really good.
got a cool stacked cast here.
Who plays Louisa?
As we
Love that person.
mentioned, let me see here. I pulled it all up. So Stephanie Beatrice plays Mirabelle. Louisa is played by an actress named Jessica Darrow. I think this is like one of her first big things. I haven't seen
Maybe she does Broadway.
any of the stuff that she's done. No, I think it's like TV and stuff, but you know,
Can we see her
a
picture?
little bit smaller. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Let's see here.
I mean, Louisa's my favorite. So.
Oh my gosh, girl, you got the sex appeal.
Yeah, she does.
Darrow.
Not trying to be weird, but
I should say
dang.
Louisa's my favorite. Oh, I just really love Louisa.
So
Can I say something about her real fast?
Sure.
I think the world needed Louisa.
yeah.
Like every little girl that I know is like Louisa. Like they are excited. They love that song. It's the repeat
That's
staple.
like the best song. One of the best songs.
Like I like
one of the best songs.
I like. We don't talk about Bruno, but I think that song to me I like a little bit more.
Here, Andre can read this about Louisa.
Let's see here. The artists for Encanto had to really fight Disney to let Louisa have big muscles, because we can't pretend Disney isn't superficial and misogynistic. Anyway, joke's on them, because little girls have gravitated to this buff AF character, and they were not prepared for the amount of demand for Louisa merch when they made a bunch of Isabella merch that isn't selling well, because they thought kids would like the classically beautiful character the most. They were wrong. Turns out the kids want giant muscle lady. Thanks, I love it.
They want
Giant muscle
Where
lady.
did this come from, dear? Do you know? This is a screenshot.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, credit to whoever wrote that.
Yeah, Luisa's the best.
Ooh, she good.
Yeah,
And I know Michael Matande would agree with us.
I too love Luisa
With the muscles.
in this movie, and I related to that song too. Her song
Yeah.
where she's got the pressure, and I think it's mostly because I'm the eldest child, and so I've felt that pressure to do
So
everything.
it is a little
and be the-
confusing because Luisa's the middle child.
Oh, is she? Isabella's the oldest.
Isabella's the oldest.
Oh, well, she's
Really?
older than
I would've never
Mirabelle,
thought
so
that.
interesting.
But it is relatable as like an older sibling.
An older
I think it's
Thing.
I think it's probably
Or
I
just
think it's
relatable
relatable
to
for most
anything.
people.
Yeah.
Like
Any
I know a
pressure
lot of
you feel.
moms are like, "Oh my god, that's me." Like, and people like in Luisa's situation, kind of like the opposite of Andre. Luis is the youngest in his family, but everyone defers to him because he's the most responsible, honestly. And I read an article from Lin Marin, and he said that he pretty much wrote this song for his older sister.
Oh, okay.
The sister is like 7 years older than him, and he's the baby, and he knows that she did everything for the family. So he's like, it was half love letter, half thank you, because it's like, I see you and I see everything that
That's
you
so
did.
great.
So I think that's cool because it came across as exactly the intention.
Honestly, I think that song is relatable to anybody who hears it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just in general, but especially for like an older sibling, like you said. But that's why I thought when I was looking at the characters and I was like, well, Luisa's actually the middle child, and yeah, children feel pressure too. Okay,
Okay, Michelle.
we get pressure too. We get labeled as crazy. Yes.
Yeah, you and Luisa both labeled this.
So who plays
Muscles and crazies.
Who plays Isabella?
Isabella is played by Miss Diane Guerrero. You might remember her from Orange is the New Black. She was one of the
okay.
inmates on
One of the
that
inmates.
show.
Okay.
I
me
don't
see.
remember her name, but she was
Oh yeah,
let's see. Let me
I remember her.
remember.
She
There
was
one
the
of those
little
weird
one,
ones.
Yeah.
the really short one.
Yes. Oh, it doesn't say who she played on there. I'll have to look it up. Give me a moment, you guys.
But yes,
Do the noise.
That
That wasn't the right noise.
Where'd she go? Oh, here she is.
Nee, nee, nee.
arguably not my favorite song.
Nee. It's really funny
But honestly,
because
because Isabella was annoying me too. I was like, I don't want to hear you sing right now.
I did not enjoy her singing voice.
No. Me
So listening to her sing, I was like, I think I would have enjoyed that song better if
She's a little
like
nasally.
someone else was singing
Gotcha.
I don't disagree.
She played Maritza Ramos.
it.
on
Maritza,
Orange
yeah.
is the New
Right.
Black, yeah.
Okay, so those are the three sisters from her mother, who is
Julieta.
Julieta, and
is
her
played-
One of
power-
three. One of
Yes.
three
One of the
So
siblings.
triplets.
Abuela's at the
Triplets.
top of the tree, and she had three kids. The first daughter was Julieta, and those were her three kids.
Yes.
And it was so funny because upon this viewing, I understood it much more. The first viewing, I was getting like a little confused about who was who in the family. And then I told Andre at the end of it, I said, everybody from Julieta's, that side of the family was all wearing blue and white. And the other side, they're all wearing yellow and orange. So if you watch it the next time, you'll be able to... I'm sure they did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
So that you could like associate it. But her power is really cool. She can just, heal you with arepas and stuff.
Heal you with a meal.
And
yeah.
she's married to...
Agustin, who
love
is
him.
played by Wilmer Valderrama, who you guys might remember
Oh,
as
yeah.
Fez from that 70s show.
Oh, what? Really?
He was the dad who kept getting stung by bees.
Which I find really funny because
was
I
so
couldn't.
funny.
First time I watched it, could not figure out what his deal was.
Right.
But the second time I realized, I don't know where she says it, but that he's accident prone.
Yes, he's accident
And
prone.
I was like,
he's kind of bumbling. And
Yeah, and the
I
first
find that
song.
very funny.
Yeah. And he's one of the dads. So him and Felix both married into the family Madrigal.
Yes.
Which is very cool.
Yes, so they don't have gifts or anything like
Right.
that. But Okay, so then
Hey, their wives are their gift, okay?
Abuela had another daughter, Tia Peppa.
Tia
who I love
Peppa.
Tia Peppa. She is so funny.
Peppa was played
She's
by
basically Storm from X-Men. Okay.
Carolina Gaitan. Also, I mean, this is an X-Men movie
My
as
Tia
far as I'm concerned.
Peppa.
You know, straight up, they're in a house. They all got powers. This is
Yeah, Andre says the X-Men.
the X-Men for sure. I
Yeah,
like
what
it.
did you say? Like Isabella's Poison Ivy, and then Tia Peppa.
Luisa's the Juggernaut.
Yeah,
I don't know about the food one.
Bruno's
but,
Jean Grey. Yeah, they all got their different powers and
Yeah.
stuff.
So Tia Peppa married Tio Felix,
Oh.
literally the best character in the
Yeah,
whole
dude.
thing.
So funny.
And they have 3 kids as well. So the oldest is Dolores, and she can
She has super hearing,
super hearing. Yeah, that's a crazy power.
which is cool. She can hear everything.
I like her a lot.
From a mile
like
away.
a lot. I think she's
And it's
so
funny
cute.
that she whispers all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to be loud. Everybody else is loud.
Yeah, I'm surprised she's not insane. I would probably go crazy
Well,
hearing
yeah.
everything all the time. But she's pretty cool. And then Camilo.
Dude, she's Professor X.
Yeah.
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 When he puts on,
Cerebro.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. And then Camilo is a shapeshifter.
Yeah. Camilla's a cousin, a shapeshifter. He's
Dude's
cool.
hella funny.
Hilarious.
I like that he has like a good sense of humor because he could be like,
He could use his powers for evil.
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Well, he uses them to get more food and stuff, you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I
because
like,
he's smart.
I like the scene.
Michelle, act like you wouldn't do the same thing.
I would totally would. And I like the in the first song, he shapeshifts into the mom and then takes the baby from her so the mom can take a nap. I was
Yeah,
like, he's
yeah.
the best.
That's very
He does,
cute.
he does a
Camilo.
lot of cool stuff in the movie when he changes into people right in front of their
Yes.
faces.
And then their third kiddo is Antonio.
I'm
and
sorry, the cutest kid on the planet.
Antonio.
Oh,
I told Andre, I said, what baby Trey looked like that?
so cute, so precious.
And his power is probably the power I would want, is talking to animals.
Mhm.
Breaking.
Talking to and possibly controlling animals, he's got a cool power
Yeah.
for sure.
And then, the other son that Abuela had is Bruno. But we don't talk
Bruno.
about him.
We don't talk about Bruno, but Bruno was played by John Leguizamo, as we mentioned before.
But we do talk about poor Maribel. And
Mirabelle.
she is so cool, but I think the last character, which I think is the cutest with Maribel out there, is the house.
Casita.
Casita
Casita.
totally has a personality. It's like the
Well-
ocean in Moana.
Right, yeah.
Or there's Casita's definitely like the ocean in Moana. That's a really good way of putting it. But I was also obsessed with the 3 kids that always hang out.
Oh, the kids from the town.
They are so funny. And then Andre really likes the Luisa, the donkeys.
There's this one dude, and he keeps asking Luisa for help, and he's got the funniest voice.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
Luisa, the donkeys, they got out
Can't
again.
stand voices like that. I cannot.
Luisa, please, the donkeys. I was dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie starts with the explanation of how they all got to be here, right? And basically, Abuela, who is just Mama at this point, I guess, she and her husband, along with a bunch of other villagers, were escaping turmoil somewhere. Right, they're trying to leave and find a new place to live, safe haven. And as they're out on their trek, they get attacked by the people who were causing the riots in the last place they were living at. So her husband goes to fight them off and let everybody else get away. And in her grief, the mom over the husband's sacrifice, she cries and a miracle happens.
and
to her
FYI,
and
she's
her
holding
family.
her 3 babies.
She has triplets.
Oh, God.
3 infant triplets. It's crazy. She's just carrying them in her arms. No stroller, no nothing.
No stroller.
No wrap. She ain't got nothing. She's just carrying them. And so in her grief, she causes a miracle to happen. A miracle happens to her and her family. So almost on the spot that she's at, a house rises and a village grows, and there's all of this foliage and stuff that happens.
And
It's very
mountains
cool.
spring up to keep out.
Right. It's a little a safe haven for them, as Michelle said. So she takes it upon herself to raise her kids to be like leaders in this community, basically, so that they are going to use their newfound magical miracle gifts to help the community that they have built together.
I thought it was, I think upon this viewing though, like in the first scene, I was like, where did the candle come from? Because she was just like a candle appeared.
I think she was holding the candle.
You think she was holding a candle like for light? Okay. And then the other thing that's confusing to me is why doesn't Casita and the Encanto, which I didn't know means enchantment, now I do. Why doesn't the Encanto give, like, they have to come of age to, like, get their gifts?
You know, it's very
They have
mysterious.
to be old enough to
7 or something?
be responsible.
I believe it's
don't know.
5. I think they
5?
all get their doors at 5 years old.
That's kind of cool.
Which is cool. But yeah, I was listening to an interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda and some of the cast and stuff like that, and I think he was saying, or maybe it was even the interviewer who was posing this question to the cast, but they were like, it's kind of cool that each of the kids gets their gifts at around 5 years old, because when you are 5 years old, you've kind of developed enough personality for your family to kind of put stuff upon you, right? So like, oh, you're a little dancer, you're gonna grow up to be a dancer someday. Oh, you're a little athlete, you're gonna grow up to be an athlete someday. So we're gonna put you in the spot where you belong, and you're kind of gonna fit the mold to be that. And so that's definitely what happens to Luisa and
No
Isabella,
pressure.
right? Yeah.
Right, which is a good and bad thing, as we
Right.
see throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and I
Oh,
mean
you
that-
make pretty flowers. You're perfect. You have to be perfect for the rest of your life. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all Abuela. I got words to say about her, but we'll get into it. So we have our opening song now, which to me also kind of feels similar to the opening song in like Beauty and the Beast, where Belle's just going through the village and like singing. But then this is like a much more upbeat, fun, like, hey guys, learn about my family, which thank goodness we needed that as the
I
first
know. I'm
song,
glad they introduced everybody
because-
right off the bat.
Because yeah, I wouldn't know what was going on. There's a lot of characters.
There's a
in
lot. There's like 12
this.
characters in this family, I believe.
Yeah, in this Encanto. I love this song too, and she's so cute. I told Andre, I said they put her in the perfect outfit, and in this song, she's really twirling it like around and stuff. But it's just so cute.
I think the first time I was like, only I would say something like this, but like I was gonna cry because she was so cute.
Yeah,
Like her little
she's so
character
cute.
is just
With her glasses,
the best. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
spunky and like super loving and empathetic, but she also is like gonna stand up for herself. And I just really, really, really like her character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just has a good
She loves her
attitude.
family, and
She's
so
cute.
so she explains to these 3 little petulant children.
Dude, I love them. They're so cute.
Little
I'm, like,
coffee
obsessed
drinking
with them.
4-year-old.
Yes, that's the one I'm
That's why
obsessed
coffee
with.
is for adults.
God.
Let's tell us what everyone can do.
So yeah, she explains to them what powers her family has received. So we kind of talked about all of them. But at the end of the song, the kids are like, "Well, what can you do? What is your power? What's your gift?" And she's like, "Gotta go. I got
she's
stuff
like-
to do."
To get autobiographical.
Yeah, and then she's just diverting and
Yeah.
deflecting. And
Dude, but she's funny. I think she tells Mariano, like, you can marry my sister if you wanna. She's kind of a
She's kind of a prima donna.
Yeah, Mariano. I have words about him too.
Mariano, he's so funny. Oh, these
so-
characters.
It comes out that what happened, Lou?
Walk it like a talk it.
What?
Mariano.
Mariano?
Yeah, in that reel you sent.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, honestly, Emily, you might have to post those for our listeners.
Oh
because
yeah.
they're
So
really
let's
funny.
pause there. Not actually pause the podcast, but we
Because I sent the first
This-
one like a week or two ago. Huh?
yeah. So like we said, we don't need to tell you.
It's
We are
everywhere.
so lucky, I think, to be in an age where, as much as I hate it, but we're in an age where, you can see it in the movie theater, then it comes out to Disney Plus immediately. So
Yeah.
most people saw it like at the same exact time.
Right.
I think
So
most
everyone
people
got
saw it like when Disney Plus came out.
Right. So like at Christmas, everyone got
Yeah.
hyped.
Yeah.
So we're 1 month in. Most people have seen it, or the people who are going to see it have seen it, and they're on TikTok and they're on whatever. So we literally have content on content and content, and
So
people
much.
like it. So they're just going nuts. And the funniest thing are the people who are ripping at a new one, or like the characters.
Which I love.
And there are so many videos that are hilarious. So even though this episode is what do you call it? Like clean and non-explicit.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the videos are not particularly. So if we repost on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, we will put like explicit on the front.
Or maybe
but just
you guys
know,
can DM us if you want us to send
yeah,
them to you or
just
something.
know that some of them have some
Explicit words
content
in
where
them.
the
But,
Parental advisory is.
You can bleep me because we're going to do an unedited version release to the Patreon. But I'll just go out and say I don't disagree with him that Abuela's a bitch. Upon the first viewing, I literally was stewing the whole time in the theater. I said, I hate Abuela. Man, she's the worst. She's so hard on her. And it was making me so mad because I'm sure some people have had this experience where there's one family member that's genuinely like really hard on maybe one person or on everyone, I don't know. But I was just like getting so mad. I was so mad. And then after Dos Oruguitas, I was crying and I got out of the theater and I was like, I still don't forgive her though. You just put one song together. You want me to feel bad for her. Now you want me to feel bad for her. Like, like I was like stewing and it still kind of happens. I think there was one TikTok Emily sent us where she's like vibing to the first song, this one that Mirabelle
the girl,
singing.
just some girl vibing.
Just to the first one, and then Abuela's part comes on, and she's like, stop dancing. She's like, whatever.
So
Hey Lou, do you want to get your 2 cents in there? He has way more than 2 cents.
It's not an explicit one, so I don't think
It is. You can. We're gonna release an explicit one to the Patreons.
I'll heavily bleep for the regular.
Do you agree with me? She's.
Oh.
I'm sorry. She just is.
Dude, I hate her. I just wish
Yeah.
like.
You can say it. It's fine.
Dude, I can't stand her fucking face or her voice or anything like that. I legit was like, Casita, you need to put a towel on down when she's walking down the steps. So, bounce. The only milagro they need is for her to be gone. Or Encanto.
Well, and then I was getting mad. Like, we were supposed to forgive her so easily. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mirabelle. Now I understand. I have opened my eyes. I'm like, what? You're only just mad because Mirabelle told you off.
So
And she was right.
Yeah.
Just to be the grandma's advocate here, I guess.
How dare
Yes, she
you.
went through some trauma. I understand.
Right, yeah. That's the only thing I was
I
gonna
understand.
explain is that, like, she
Doesn't mean you have to be a bitch about it.
she. You're right, but like she did go through a lot of trauma, right? She lost her husband and had to be a single mom for however long.
The magical house.
With a magical house. Okay, so she gets her magical house,
everything
and
for
she's
you.
she's very grateful for it, right?
Sure, the house probably
she-
raised those kids for her too. There's nothing except just
The house is like
stealing
rocking the
babies.
babies and stuff.
Like she's like, we have to work and dedicate our lives and blah blah blah. I'm
Right,
like,
to
okay.
the community that they have.
Yeah,
that
you
they
ain't
have built.
dedicating your lives to your poor kids over here.
and
Slaving away.
You know
she's
what?
so-
She kicked out Bruno. She didn't give a shit about him. I'm just saying.
she didn't kick him out. He disappeared.
She didn't look for him.
That's very true.
She was like, we don't talk about him.
We don't
My
talk
son.
about Bruno. We're
Bro.
gonna shut up about.
Y'all shunned Bruno
One
when
of
he
my
came
three
back. You were like,
triplets.
Bruno, we're something like you. I was like, nah.
So
Where you been?
Where you been?
I'm not on Abuela's side at all. Like I
fine. You
I
can
hate
play
her
the
just
devil's
as
advocate.
much
I'm okay with
as you guys. But I am saying, like, her main focus throughout this entire movie is to uphold what has been given to her, right? And what has been given to her is the magic of this house, and it is passing to each of her family members. So when it doesn't work for Mirabelle, she's so, like, she can't believe it, and it's never happened to her before or anything like that. So I think she focuses all of her attention onto the one thing that she can blame for
She
this
made
disruption, which is Mirabelle,
stay in the nursery.
for 10 years.
Luis
in
was
the
like,
trenches.
like,
And I even feel bad because I think every now and then her mom is like, you're too hard on Mirabelle. I'm like, you need to tell your mother she's way too hard on her. Like,
yeah.
you're kind of hard on her. No, she's hard on her.
Right. That is the other thing about this family, in that, so everybody has all these powers, except for Tio Felix and Dad Augustine, right? And Mirabelle. But everyone is so enamored by the gifts and the magic and the powers that they kind of they treat Mirabelle like a second-class citizen, where, I mean, they don't necessarily do that with Felix and Augustine because they are outsiders. She is a part of the family, but she's not a part of the
I agree
family
with
because
that.
she didn't get
I think there was
gifts.
a scene, they're setting up for the party after this song. They're setting up for the party
Which
for
is such a
Antonio
fun
because
scene, too.
it is going to be the day that he's going to get his door and his gift, right? And she's just like literally carrying a box, and they're like, "Don't overdo yourself." I'm like, she's carrying a box. You guys need to calm down. Like, it was.
She's a squib, you know. She's straight up muggle, you know. She can't do nothing.
Mirabelle.
Oh my God, she's a squib.
She's a squib.
Oh no.
Yeah, and Harry Potter, when
She's, like, trying
when
to
you're
set
born
up-
in a magical family and you don't have any magic,
And
you're
she's
a
like
squib.
trying to set up candle
Frankie first year?
decorations
Frankie
for
first. year.
Abuela, and Abuela is like, "You need to leave this." I don't remember what Abuela says in that moment, but it's like rude.
That was so.
She's
That was very
basically
rude.
Like, you need to like step aside and not do anything.
Right.
And, like,
Don't get in our
Don't
way.
get in the way.
I
and,
feel like
don't
that's
ruin
the
this
first
day.
time you
We're almost
really
like,
see-
Whoa, Abuela! You could have said that in a nicer way.
Oh yeah, you see like everyone's relationships to one another. You see that everyone's asking Luisa to do everything,
Right.
And Isabella is the perfect one who's making the flowers and making everything look perfect. But then you see them bump into each other, and you see that like sibling sister rivalry.
Right.
Mirabelle makes the best diss faces at Isabella.
Yes, she
So
does.
freaking
They're
hilarious.
so good.
Every time she comes out, she's like rolling her eyes, like, jeez.
I mean, Isabella literally like floats down from a cloud of petals and flowers and stuff like that, and Mirabelle's like, "Oh my God,
It's so
sister
good.
Sucks so hard."
So
hate her."
funny though.
I feel like she definitely doesn't. Isabella and her do not get along, and Luisa's just kind of there, but Luisa's
Doing her.
doing things all the time.
Oh
like
yeah,
you said.
constantly
So
moving.
the pressure is on for her. Move
Right.
the piano upstairs. Do this. Move that. Pick up a whole church. Okay.
I love the interaction too between. Oh my God, are we an hour in?
Yeah, you know.
And we're on the second
Fine.
scene. One of my favorite scenes though is right after this. She goes up to the nursery in her poor little room, and Antonio's under the bed, and at first you don't really get like what's happening or who she's talking to,
Right.
and she's made him a little like
Like a cheetah.
like
Tiger,
cheetah thing, stuffed animal,
animal.
and he's like so excited, but he's also sad because he doesn't want to leave her alone. And
but also he's scared because
Yeah.
the last time there was one of these ceremonies, it was Mirabelle's, and she did not get her power.
So he's feeling the pressure too, because
Right.
I think Abuela's like, "You're gonna have a power," and blah, blah, blah. You know
or
what
else,
I mean?
or else I'll treat
And
you
he's
like
what
Mirabelle.
if-
You don't
he's
want
like,
that,
what
do
if
you?
I don't? Okay. Yeah, that's.
then you're gonna be an outsider and suck too.
Yeah.
How about
He's
that?
only 5.
Oh no, but he could be an outsider at 5 'cause she was.
She
I
was.
know. And Mirabelle's
indeed.
so sweet. She's like, well, you know, in that impossible situation, you can stay here with me.
Yeah, yeah. She's so nice. She's very. You're right. She's empathetic to
Yeah,
the
but I
entire
told Andre,
family.
I said, oh, she depressed on the inside.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll get that in the next song, really.
Poor
So.
girl.
So the ceremony happens, and he doesn't want to walk up the stairs by himself. So Mirabelle goes, and you can just see Abuela's discerning look. Like, I do not
She's like,
approve of
ugh.
this.
Why she rubbing off her
mom's like-
non-magical on him?
My mom's like, wow, I'm surprised she let her walk him up the aisle. Like,
Well, about to tackle Mirabelle
yeah,
off the stairs.
get out of here.
Literally. So
Get your off.
he does get a power, and it's so good. It's he I mean, she said that he was an animal guy and likes animals. I think that's why Mirabelle made him that thing. But so his power kind of relates to that, and he can speak and kind of control, like you said, animals.
Yeah.
And his room is sick. It's
Yeah, he has like a jungle
room.
room.
It's very cool. Like I think this is the first time well, no, we do see inside of their rooms during the
Yeah.
first song, but this is the first time I felt like I really got a sense of what this house has going on. Right? So when this 5-year-old touches this door handle, it becomes his room, and the room takes on the essence of this kid's personality and his
It's like the
and his new
TARDIS,
gift.
I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. So he opens this door and he's suddenly in a gigantic forest with a huge freaking animal kingdom
It's
tree.
bigger on the inside.
Yeah, with one of the kids comes in and
Yeah.
says that.
With his little cheetah buddy.
Yeah, and all the animals
whatever
come
it
in
is.
and they take him on a little jungle tour throughout the whole
Good
room, and
Lord.
it's crazy.
And then Abuela's a again, and she says, let's all take a photo, everybody, and they don't call Mirabelle in. You know what? That's on her mom, too. Her mom and dad didn't say, Mirabelle, come here, get in this photo, okay?
Well, I think
they were just like, we're the Madrigals.
I think they just forget because she's like you said, she's like a tertiary part of the importance, I guess.
There's us as all as a family, as everybody each has an individual name, and then there's the Magic Madrigals, you know, and she is not one of the Magic Madrigals, but she is in the family. But yeah, she doesn't get to be in the
I'm
pictures.
part of the family, Madrigal.
Right.
Keep telling yourself that, girl. Poor thing. So they take.
I was born in,
They take
but
a photo without her, and this was very musical to me that they do like the freeze frame, where now she's gonna sing her ballad, her sad song
Waiting
about
on a miracle.
not having a power, which I did cry in the theater for this one. I was like, this is depressing.
Hey, Lou,
Poor girl.
do you want to give our joint feelings on this song? Because we have.
Oh, the one where she gets left out, huh?
Yeah. It's
Dude,
so,
so
sad.
like if you see it in the movie, like you're kind of like, dude, just get in the picture. But like
that they just
when
ran
you
over
when you
it.
just hear it, like no visuals, like that's the best song in the whole soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was skipping it at first because it was making me too sad, and now I can listen to it. But
Did
it's
you force
really
yourself
sad.
to cry?
No,
No.
I don't force myself to cry. Just do.
I just do. No, when we watched it in the movie theater, I was sitting there thinking like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but like I thought it was like lacking zhuzh. And then when we started listening to it, we both kind of looked at each other and were like, okay, this is good.
Yeah,
It's a banger.
it's been growing on me.
Yeah, it's good.
Right. It's interesting.
And my
how
kid belts this like a ballad, like she
Addie?
should.
with her Encanto
I thought this
microphone.
was her. Oh.
You thought
Dude.
she was gonna say it was her favorite song.
Andre and Michelle are awful people.
Did you buy that for her for
happened?
Christmas? Yes.
Oh, the microphone.
So
Yes.
we bought.
It's
I
on
thought
the
you would've
table
thrown
right there.
I thought you would have thrown the microphone away by now.
So they're
wouldn't
awful
judge you if you
people,
did.
and they are pregnant right now. So I can't wait to buy them awful people
That's
parent
gotta be
gifts.
yes.
some karma-
This is
karma
the only
gifts.
awful thing I've ever bought you.
That's
and in my
true.
defense, I just wanted to buy her a book because it's educational, and it was not my fault. It had a microphone on it.
We went into the bookstore. We saw there was an Encanto book. We were like, oh snap, this is great.
And then we saw the microphone.
And we saw the microphone. I was
and
like,
we were like,
oh,
oh.
Emily is not gonna be happy.
There was no other Encanto books, and I wanted to buy her like a Mirabelle doll, and Andre was like, Emily doesn't want a doll. Like I would get
Gotta
the
be
book.
educational, is what I said.
And I was like,
appreciate
okay,
that.
fine. So I got the book. I was like, she's not gonna like this microphone attached to it.
and we were watching Addie that day, and she was belting in the
my
microphone
gosh. This
with
was us
us.
at the house. We were like, holy moly.
This is what she's gonna go do when she gets home. ain't she?
But I will say that,
Emily's gonna make me record outside again.
that's the one that she belts though. So I'm surprised that she said, I don't know if they'll have heard this at this point, but she said that
The Isabella song was
yeah,
her favorite.
Ibizella's song
Ibizella.
is their favorite. Anywho, this one's pretty good.
So after this, Mirabelle leaves to like go collect herself. And this is the first time we see the Encanto like cracking and the magic kind of fading. And so she's really worried. So she goes into the party and is like, the Encanto, Casita's in trouble. Like something's
The house
happening.
is breaking. Everything's going crazy. The candle's in danger.
Yes. And then they go out there. Abuela's got this judgmental look on her face. I'm sorry. She's the worst. They go out there and the house is fine. And so Abuela is like pissed. She's like, the magic is fine. Everything's fine. Play the music, Luisa. And she's like,
The magic is strong, and so are the drinks. Let's go have a good time, everybody. All right,
Yeah,
come on.
Made me think
Abuela
like she was
is an
accusing her daughter of
actress.
drinking.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, she was.
granddaughter, like-
Which is crazy.
No, she was yeah.
She's like, this 16-year-old's freaking crazy.
She got into the punch. I don't know.
It might
Sorry,
be legal
guys.
in Colombia. I don't know. At 16. Who knows? But yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
was
she gaslights her real hard.
Yeah, she does. So she goes to her mom after, and her mom are talking, and even her mom kind of doesn't believe her. She's like, they
She
basically
thinks it's
just
like
think
stress
that she's
and stuff.
jealous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because she didn't get a thing. So she's like not having that, and she's worried about Casita. And so the next day she's like, I'm going to save the miracle, right? I don't know how to save the miracle, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to start with Dolores because Dolores hears
can hear
everything.
everything.
So if she heard anything suspicious, Dolores will tell me.
Hold on, though, because right before this is my only...
Got a gripe?
My only gripe. And, it probably has a answer. It's just I haven't seen the answer, so I'm like, But right before she goes talks to Dolores, she, like, runs up on the top of Casita, right? She, like, runs up there towards where the candle's at in...
to see
Meanie Head's room.
To see Abuela. Yeah.
And like Abuela's like talking to, I'm assuming her husband. It's kind of like she's praying,
Right.
but she's talking to him and she's like, the magic is fading. What am I supposed to do? Blah, blah, blah.
I need you, please help me. All
And
that stuff.
she like acknowledges it as if she knew it was happening
Right.
pre Mirabelle's having issue. So that's my only like, so you knew and you're still gaslighting her. Like that's where I was like, I hate you.
Right.
Like you are a...
Well, Abuela knew something was up because, I mean, farther on in the movie, we learned that she made Bruno have a vision to be like, what's up with this?
Right.
You
So
know,
that's
so
the-
I'm
that's the thing,
pretty
is that-
sure that's why she hates...
is
not
that-
that- I shouldn't say she hates Mirabelle, but she associates her with the magic
Right.
fading.
And she is obsessed with keeping the magic of this house. So the fact that it's fading and she's trying to hide it, and you know, we're having a big party right now. All the villagers are here. We can't talk about how
Sure.
the magic is fading in front of everybody. I gotta embarrass you and say that you're drunk
Yeah.
right now instead of acknowledging that you're telling me the truth. So yeah, Mirabelle.
That's where my gripe is, where it's like,
Yeah, I agree with you. It was just, I'm
Anywho.
telling you, I didn't already like Abuela
She's making
before
bad
that,
decisions.
but that didn't help
Abuela.
any. So she goes to find Dolores in the market and is like getting a bunch of food, and she's talking to Dolores, and Dolores is looking at her like, okay. And then Uncle freaking Tio Felix comes out and is like, Camilo, stop turning into your sister to get more food.
Shapeshifter, dude.
Dude, if I was a shapeshifter, I'd be doing that kind of crap too.
oh yeah.
I like how he makes fun of his dad.
Oh my
that's my
gosh, and he's
favorite
like
part.
so short when
he's
he's
all
the
little.
dad.
No, but he does that on purpose because his dad's
I
not
know.
okay.
It's so funny.
I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that.
It's so funny.
Hilarious.
Camilo's funny. He has an attitude though.
Yeah.
You know, like you can see it on his face too. But I like Camilo.
He has those eyebrows.
All right.
Yeah.
So the real Dolores shows up, and Mirabelle asks her, like, "Hey, have you heard anything
Dude,
about
she's
what's going on with the
interrogating
magic?"
people.
I just want to know. And Dolores is like, "Okay, well, I haven't heard anything, but you might want to go ask Luisa. I heard her eye twitching all night last night. She's worried about
And then
something."
she also says like the rat. She hears the rats.
She
in
hears the
walls.
rats, which is a clue because she actually hears Bruno in the walls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because she has heard him all the
Right.
time. But so
Yeah, that's my other problem. Like,
She didn't tell
I
nobody
think she was trying to protect him
about Bruno
because he didn't want to come
because
out.
we don't talk about Bruno.
yeah, so she knows he there.
But you know what? Her mom is Peppa, the
Pig.
Peppa the pig, the storm, right? And it was her wedding day, right? And so she's the one who's
They were
singing,
getting ready.
"We don't talk about Bruno," right? So I'm guessing that came down to her kids more strongly than on
Probably.
the rest of the house or whatever.
Probably. We'll talk about that song. It's my favorite
Mm-hmm.
song. So she goes to see Luisa, and Luisa...
Luisa, the donkeys around again.
hate that movie.
Andre was laughing so hard
I was
yesterday.
dying at this point because as soon as he started talking, Luisa, I was like, "Oh my god!"
My favorite one is well, it's in the song.
When he
we don't
loses-
talk about Bruno, but
When he loses his hair,
Oh.
that day.
in my head. It's so whiny.
So she's like, Luisa,
Yeah.
are you scared about the magic? Like, and her eye kind of twitches or whatever, and she's like, Luisa, tell me what's going on, basically. And Luisa's like,
Basically.
she's like, I'm not nervous. I don't know what you're talking about. And
I'm
she's
never
like,
nervous.
she's like, you could tell me. And then she just goes into her whole freaking ballad, which is literally
I thought
the
I was
best.
gonna die the first time. I was like,
strong
this is.
one. I'm not nervous. I'm as tough as the crust of the earth.
I like it when she does it with her hips.
Yeah.
And Mirabelle looks at her like
Bouncing stuff with her hips and stuff.
Okay, you kind of crazy.
And the donkeys are like backing up, and
donkeys
she's like,
are in the whole scene. It's so
They're the
funny.
backup dancers. You
Yeah.
They are.
To say.
It's so funny.
It reminds me of Zootopia, where the tigers are the backup
Yeah.
dancers. Are
It
just
reminds me of Frozen 2, The Lost in the Woods. Where
Oh,
all the
yeah.
mooses
All
were
the
in the
moose.
background.
yes,
Yeah.
but the donkeys are pretty funny because they've got attitude. Like,
Also, like, let's be real, that LMM is really good at writing lyrics. Like, I
Yes.
like his lyrics a lot. And I feel like kid songs or Disney songs, like, from the Renaissance era, the lyrics used to be much simpler. And now we're getting, like, lyrics that are, like, things that kids might not know about. You know what I mean? Where she
Under the
says-
surface,
Hold on.
I feel Berserk as a tightrope walker in a 3-ring circus. Like, oh snap!
I know. He was the
Adeline
Hercules,
asked me,
and
she was-
Hercules ever like, yo, I don't want to find Cerberus. I was like, you get it, girl.
yeah, we all learn about some Cerberus up in here. But it was funny because Addie asked me, like, what's a 3-ring circus, Mom? I want to be a tightrope rocker. And I was like,
Oh, that's
do you
cool.
remember The Greatest Showman? Yeah. They remember the rings? Yeah. Okay, that's a 3-ring circus. Remember Zendaya? Yeah.
Tightrope walker. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So the lyrics are just like so good in this song. But I
Technically,
mean,
she's not a tightrope walker.
Well, yeah.
no.
Well, whatever. It's the easiest
She
way to
could.
explain it.
She could do it.
'Cause I
You're
was
right,
like,
she
they
was
talking
trapeze.
They
One
talking
of
about
those.
Hercules and Cerberus up in here. Like, let's go.
Yeah, they even showed
But,
the
and
little
this song
scene.
is good because it goes through all the visual scenes and stuff. Talks about the Titanic or basically
Yeah.
Titanic, you know.
So I have to tell you real fast that I was reading a like article with LMM, and he said that because this was done, a lot of it was done during the pandemic. They weren't doing the movie like they would normally do it, like in the studio, like
Right.
with everyone collabing.
Right.
He would have to ask for like specific parts of the movie and be like, can you send me 58 minutes 37 seconds through 60 minutes
Right.
27
So I can
seconds
time the music
because
to it.
I'm writing the music and you're doing the animation. I need to make sure like it's gonna work
Right.
like with
It's
what's
gonna
going on.
match up.
Right.
So he's like, I would write these lyrics and try to fit everything that fits into rhyming with nervous and surface and all these things. He's like, and I didn't even know if they could like put Hercules and Cerberus and like the
Right.
Titanic and all this stuff in there. He goes, and then they'd send it back and it was like the best thing you ever
Perfect.
saw.
Yeah.
So he was like really interested in how it was like reverse production
Right.
because they, they're just not usually doing it like that.
It's a
So
lot farther of a back and forth than it normally
And also
is.
just a different way to creatively think. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I do my best creative thinking when I'm literally falling asleep in bed. Like, that's when I start thinking of stuff and then I write things down. Or that's how I used to write essays and poems and stuff. But I'm like...
Mine
it's
are
just,
always
like,
in the
really
car.
cool. In the car.
like
Yeah.
driving with no kids, drop them off, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm vibing with myself right now.
I
Exactly.
have shower
exactly.
thoughts and I have
I have shower thoughts.
walking the dog thoughts. You know.
Yeah. walking the
Dougie,
dog.
listen.
Yeah. Dougie-
Luis, do you ever
Dougie
have
gets an earful.
So that's really
do you ever have philosophical moments?
That's really interesting. He's like when I'm eating a Carl's Jr. burger.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean philosophical?
Like when you getting your own thoughts.
And you like creatively coming up with the
Oh,
stuff.
I don't create anything.
Okay. Moving on. So
Under the surface,
it's really
he ain't
cute.
got
'cause
nothing
she's
there.
like, Louisa, I think you've been caring too much, like as an expression, right? And Louisa took that as like, let's carry less donkeys. And so she goes home, right? And then it's just so funny because she comes back crying, and she's like, I can't lift things, and it was heavy.
Like she's upset because something was heavy.
Right. So I think Louisa does drop the knowledge that it might have something
start
to
with
do with
Bruno.
Bruno because he had a vision years ago that I barely remember or whatever.
And Mirabelle she doesn't really know who Bruno is.
Because she was super young,
She was
right?
super young.
She was the youngest before Antonio,
Exactly.
and he disappeared when she didn't get that door. So
Yes.
you know,
So like she was 5, and at that point, I mean, she's not
Right.
going to remember.
So she goes back to her room, and Tia Peppa comes in there just like gathering some things from the room to take to Antonio's room.
From the nursery.
And of course, she asks Tia Peppa, the most anxious one out of everybody, like, so, and she's like, I thought I heard you say that name we do not say. I was like, what, Voldemort? Like, who will not be named.
Practically.
We don't talk about Bruno, okay?
We
She's
don't
like,
talk
but if we
about
were,
Voldy.
she's like, but if we were gonna talk about him,
She's such an aunt. I'm sorry. Okay, she's such an aunt. We don't talk about it, but if we were going to talk about it, let me give you my gossip.
No, I think Tio Felix butts in is like, she needs to know.
It was a nightmare.
Nightmare. She needs to know.
fool.
And
So
she's like,
funny.
we don't talk about it. But it was my wedding day.
It was our wedding day.
I'm sorry, this is the best song to me. And after the first time I saw it in the theater, I was texting you guys. I was like, dude, we don't talk about Bruno as a bop. And Luis was like, oh, it's not my favorite of the songs.
I didn't like it.
No.
And I was like,
it's
no, this is going to be the bop of the whole thing. And it definitely is.
think-
It's still my favorite.
I think that this song tells the best story
It
out of
feels
all
like
the
a
songs.
straight up musical to me.
Yeah.
And I love the way it was choreographed,
Yes,
too.
and I love the way that it was not composed or mixed.
How it's in a round.
arranged.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh, at the
yes, because
end
it's
where
in
it's
a
a
round,
round? Yeah.
where,
The
where
best.
every character is saying their
That
lines
kind
from
of
the previous
stuff as
part
like
of the
a
song.
choir and musical person
Yeah.
just gives me the chills.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
they're like singing like that at the end, I was like, oh yes, thank you.
Well, and
This is what I
even
needed.
it's cool because it's all in the exact same like key. It's all in the same like progression, but there's different cadences,
Right.
and obviously different lyrics. So it feels like 7 different songs or whatever put
All
together,
combining
but
into
it all really is the same.
7-foot frame.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the song? I think that Louis. What's your favorite?
that one.
Yeah.
Camila?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he gets his arms going and shit.
So long is back.
That's the part that gets stuck in my head the most.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Oh, it's
Rats
the
all
first
on his
part.
back.
The first part for me, it's because it's
my wedding day.
it's because of T.O. Felix
Yep.
butting in. No clouds allowed in the sky.
I think Luis and I said that together like 85 times.
He said, I'm sorry, me to go.
And then he's still doing it.
Yeah,
Even
he's
after
like-
she said,
Yeah.
what did he tell?
This fool
What a
is
darkest day,
hilarious.
but anyway. I like to sing his part. He's so
He's the
funny.
best.
He's so funny.
It was so funny too because I was singing it and Adeline literally like, Mom, that's not what she says. And I was like, oh my God. Because I said, it was our wedding day. It was our wedding day. And she's like, we were getting ready. And I was like, oh my
yeah.
God.
She's like, I know it, okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
But I also
she be
like-
telling.
I also like Dolores' part. I like Dolores' voice.
Oh, yeah.
So she has like her little thing, like I was over him, so no muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand.
Which is cool.
So-
Another clue.
I told
Dolores dropping all
Andre
the
because I
clues.
had seen the Easter egg in a TikTok. That's another thing, is that all these TikToks are posting Easter eggs. So Bruno is in the background of the song dancing on the balcony, like when Dolores is doing it. And the reason Dolores keeps flipping Mirabelle around is so that she like doesn't see him.
What?
Right.
You didn't see that one?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you'll have to go back and watch it. And I was like, look, babe, he's dancing. He's in the background, like vibing to his own song. He's like,
Yeah, you can tell it's him because he has green eyes and he's in the
It's
he's in the
me.
cloak
or
or
whatever.
yeah. So I told Andre pause it and I said, okay, he's in the background, so this is why she's like flipping her around, like, oh, don't see him, you know.
Ooh, I have to
So
go
I guess
watch
she's
now.
like trying to protect Bruno in a way.
Right. Yeah.
That's fine. But then who? Has
Okay,
the
then that
part?
makes
Oh,
me dislike
Isabel.
her less because I'm over here
Yeah.
like, this bee knows he's
I
there.
think she's trying to like protect.
I mean,
Okay.
I guess, let's
honestly, she might be the one that gives him food.
maybe. He did say he had kitchen access, so he goes to the kitchen and he steals stuff or something like
Yeah.
that. But who knows? Maybe more people in this house know that Bruno is in here than we even think. Maybe Julieta is in there, like, leaving food for the rats to take to Bruno or whatever.
I don't think so.
Give this to my brother.
I think only Dolores knew.
Yeah.
Only Dolores knew. And then Antonio.
But for
eventually,
Dolores specifically, like, I think, she got her gift at 5 or whatever, and I don't know how much older she is than Mirabelle, but just a couple years after that, Bruno disappears, and she can hear him the entire time. And I don't know if he's whispering like, "Hey, don't tell anybody I'm here," or what.
Probably rats or-
But she does decide to not tell anybody about it, even though she is pretty secret spilly with all the rest of the stuff that she hears about, you know?
Well, that's only because of one specific reason, which I think if I was the character, I'd probably be Dolores. I relate to her. None of the dudes wanted to date me either. Whatever, Dolores.
Oh my God.
So Isabella comes down from the sky in the song. He told me that the life of my dreams. And freaking Mirabelle's like mean mugging her. It's
So funny.
It's so funny. Mariano's on his way. And then I felt so bad for Dolores. He told me that the man of my
Michelle
dreams
literally just
would be
wants to sing it.
out of reach. Betrothed to another. I was like, oh, I like her. So yeah, when she gets the cheese mail on that, she's gonna let that drop. She's like, I'm gonna ruin this engagement.
Right. Every time that Abuela sings, Luis.
Oh my God.
I have to tell you, Luis, a couple times
It
ago,
kills the vibe, kind of.
he was
Dude,
like,
her voice.
who is it who sings this? I don't ever want to see this lady again. If I see her in anything else, I'm going to turn it off. He's a this lady.
Oh my
It was
God.
very funny.
Let me see. Abuela is played by Miss Maria Cecilia Botero.
Well, Luis hates her.
I don't think you would recognize her from anything. It seems like she's in a lot of Spanish language.
She
films
is
and TV.
not as old as she sounds.
She was born in 1955.
No, but look at that picture.
Oh, yeah, I mean, she looks great.
I mean, that is not
She
what
reminds me of
me see.
like
Oh,
Oh,
She looks like an abuela, but not this abuela. You know what I mean?
she looks like somebody's abuela.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I feel like she would be Peppa Pig's Hispanic mom or something. I don't know why.
I know nothing about Peppa Pig.
Neither do I, but
It was funny because the last time we listened to it, I had to get mad at Luis because he was like, this lady, she's the worst. I'm like, Luis, this is a kid's movie. Like, you need to calm down. He's like, no, I
So
can't
funny.
calm down. She's worst.
I'm also realizing that we skipped literally the entire scene where she goes and gets the vision. Whoops.
That hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't happened.
No, it definitely has happened yet.
No, because
It
we
happened
don't.
before the song.
Yes, it does, because Mariano is on his way, and at the end of this song, she's putting together the vision while they're circling around her, doing the all around. And then when the song ends, the vision is together, and her dad walks in.
Okay,
You're
you're
right.
right,
You're
but I
right.
hate the vision part, so I
She-
think
So
it
we
just.
definitely
She goes to
skipped
get the
that whole
vision
scene.
before
I shouldn't say I hate
before they
it.
sing
It's
the
just
song.
slow.
You're right. So yeah, Mirabelle.
It was after Luis said Bruno might do something. I would start with his tower.
Right.
And
She goes to
the
Bruno's tower. Inside of his room
His room's the
is
worst.
15,000 steps up to a gigantic
It's
tower.
like Genie from Aladdin's
Yeah, it's like
lamp. I bet you
Table
that's what
Wonders.
it's like.
His room
Right.
straight up sucks. I wouldn't
It's
want to
nuts.
live in that room.
So she has to walk all the way up these stairs. She gets to the very top, which I must assume is hours later. And there's supposed to be a bridge across to like a hallway, and the bridge is gone. So she has to like break off a piece of rope and swing it around and rappel herself over to the other
She gets
side.
over there.
Would the room let her die?
That's a fantastic
Casita
question.
said that they couldn't go in his room.
Right. Well, so
Remember, she was
Casita-
trying to go in, and she was like, "You can't go past here." And Casita was like,
Casita is like the main house, right? The character of Casita is the main house. It's the floorboards, it's the doors, it's the windows, and all that stuff. But inside each of the magical rooms, I don't think Casita can enter. Like, I don't think Casita is messing around inside Antonio's jungle room
I
or
don't
anything
think
like
so.
that.
Well, here's the thing, though. Casita, well, I guess the nursery is not, right?
Right.
Is not
The
a
nursery's not
fancy
one of the
one.
magical doors.
But Luis and I were like, oh my God, Antonio's on this tiger and he's up inside here. Like, he's going to fall off this thing. But in
thought
my
the
mind,
room would save
the
him.
room would save him.
"No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Well,
His
that-
animals would."
yeah, that might still be true. Since these rooms are so unbelievably gigantic, I don't know. I don't know how the magic works in here, but like Bruno specifically, he can't fly or anything like that. He's got to walk up these stairs every single time
Yeah,
that
he
he
said
goes
his
in there.
room stuck.
If he
He
were
was
to
like,
fall,
"Oh."
I would assume that his room would save
Like
him.
the sand would save him or something.
Yeah, like
would
a
freaking
pile
hope
of sand
so.
would.
Can you
would
imagine?
pile
Also,
up or
he
something
has-
Where's
like
your
that.
bed, bro?
He has like a really cool gift, but he has the most intense one. He has to put the sand out. Then he has to light the candles. Like, he has to do all these
Has to
things
perform a
to
ritual.
have his visions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she gets
He
into
can't just wave his hand and have a vision.
But it's very interesting because like the way when he eventually has his vision with Mirabelle. He sets it all up and he does all of the stuff. And from that, it's like, oh man, this dude must be like reading books on having visions, and he studies divination or whatever. But when he's just hanging out inside the walls, when Mirabelle first meets him, and he's like, knock, 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 knock on wood, and he's doing all of his like OCD things, I think he developed his entire ritual himself. You know, like
he just knew how to do it.
Yeah, he can't have the visions unless he does the specific things in the specific order, and he, you know, that's just how he gets there.
Yeah, maybe.
Dude, yeah, his power is intense. I would be annoyed if people would keep coming to me and I tell them things and then they hate me because I told it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
He told me my fish would die the next day, dead.
Oh no!
I think that's one of the funniest parts too in that song.
I was like, oh, okay, because Bruno did that.
He told me I'd grow a gut, and just like he said.
Said my hair will disappear. Now look at my head.
That's Luis's favorite part.
So whiny.
Yeah.
So at the end of the song, she puts the vision together. Dad walks in her room and is like, huh? And Mirabelle's like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm breaking the magic of the Encanto. Bruno had this vision. Right. And he's like, right now, they ain't no vision. He takes all the pieces, puts them in his pocket. He's like, Mariano is coming over to literally propose to Isabella. It seems like it's an arranged
We just all gonna chill.
Mainly.
That was so cute. He was like, yeah, we're putting a pause on this.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this after.
Later.
So the problem is, he was like, nobody's going to hear about this. But who heard Dolores? Because she hears everything. And she's like, I know. And I knew, like, right then, I was like, oh, well, if she likes Mariano, it's about to go down.
Yeah, here it
she's
goes.
about to break up this engagement.
Right,
she tried really hard, but
here it goes.
That was the main reason that she was spilling those secrets. You're right.
And I even told Andre it was weird. I was like, why is Isabella marrying Mariano? Does she like him? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of weird. It seemed arranged.
It is interesting, right? Like, so.
Well, it is arranged.
I mean, yes, but like, since Abuela is not only the matriarch of this house, but of this entire village, right? Not that she is necessarily the matchmaker, but like, she's the one who's liaisoning with these other families and like, which one of these families would be the best one?
Yeah, it's practically the 1800s with like land owning and stuff.
Which one of these dudes should we bring into the house? Who would be the most helpful? You know, that kind of thing. And I don't know if she did that with Felix and Augustine.
What's he's bringing?
You're right. What he got?
Good looks.
He got goats. He got donkeys.
He got goats.
Donkeys? Okay.
What did Felix bring? The comedy?
Hey, he's dancing, dude. He's bringing the moves.
Yeah, dude.
Those hips don't lie.
So it hits the fan, okay? I don't know where these little mouses or possum
they're rats.
animals, they weren't rats. I think they were like possums or something. I don't know where they came from, Antonio.
Olivia thought they were raccoons. It was so funny.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, those things.
They
Gotcha.
take the pieces of the vision and they're starting to put it together. And they're trying to hurry this proposal along. And the vision goes together. The rat mouse thingies like slide it over to Abuela. And Dolores is like, she had a vision. And spills the whole beans, okay?
Right.
It starts raining because Peppa is like, oh, geez, what is happening?
He's having a meltdown.
Right? Having a meltdown, he is. Mariano does not propose, obviously, because...
Doesn't he get punched in the face or something like that?
Yeah, I think with, like, Isabella's flower or something like that.
Right, yeah.
So, basically, it hits the fan. Abuela is mad because she was saying, you should have told me right away, basically, about the vision. But, like... What was going to happen? You want me to tell you right now? Last time I told you right now, you were mad.
Right.
You know
yeah,
what I
she
mean?
definitely would have been mad if she had told her.
Yeah, exactly.
So while that's happening, while Mirabelle is ruining this proposal or whatever.
She's like watching the rats.
Yes.
And the rats take the vision and run away into the wall. And so she like opens the picture frame and there's like
a hole.
A hole in the wall.
A rat hole.
Well, a human hole.
Similar to a bee hole.
No, not a bee hole.
Stop with the bee hole.
And she runs through there, and who?
If y'all don't remember the Winnie the Pooh episodes a couple weeks ago, Andre used the bee hole conversation, and I'm still over here not okay with it. Not done.
Be chilling in the walls of the house. It be Bruno.
Luis always gets mad at me when we used to go to the theaters all the time, he would get mad because I make the and the and all those noises. And when we're watching with the kids, he gets extra mad because I apparently scare them with those, right?
Oh, like when you first see Bruno.
Yeah, and when Bruno pops up, I'm like, you know, his little green eyes and stuff. And then like the lightning goes and then he's gone. And like,
Yeah, it was creepy. It was cool.
Creepy.
And then when they're running and she falls, I'm sorry that
was great. Cause
laughed so
it
hard.
wasn't far.
They go on a little chase scene and
I was even thinking in my head, like, well, how far are they gonna fall? Is there a hole in the ground in the foundation?
that was the thing, is that like I still don't know how this house works, right? So they're inside the walls of the house, and we've already seen that each of the rooms can expand and be gigantic or whatever. So I didn't know how far down it could have went.
That's
thousands
true.
of miles or whatever. But no, it was like 2 feet, and it
That's
was
true.
really dusty down there.
I mean, I really thought it was weird that he was like living in the walls, but I'm pretty sure Casita just like let him in.
Right, I think.
You know what I mean?
I think Casita helps him out.
So it turns out Bruno is a really nice guy. Okay, he's definitely superstitious and has OCD tics and things like that. But he is pretty cool. I love when there's like the cracks in the wall and Mirabelle's like, "Oh, so you've been patching those up?" And he was like, "No,
No, I don't do
that's so and so,
It's like Sergio.
Sergio or Jose or whatever." And then he puts a bucket on his hand. He's like, "It's me."
It's me, Sergio.
Some say that acting was my real gift. I was like, okay.
I cannot.
That was very funny.
Bruno's so funny.
I liked Bruno a lot. So yeah, he explains to her that he never disappeared, right? He didn't.
Just been living in the
He never
walls.
left. He
has his rats and his friends.
he realized when he was having this last vision that he had of Mirabelle, back when she was 5 or whatever, that his gift was only bringing like strife to the family. It was making Abuela hate him, and none of it was doing any good for anybody. So he thought that the best gift that he could give the family was to like remove himself.
Well, yeah, and he was trying to protect Mirabelle too.
Right,
So
exactly.
he broke the vision and like went to live in the walls. So he's been in there 10 years. I think they said,
Yeah,
yeah,
10 years.
he's been there 10 years. So that means Mirabelle's probably like 15.
She's 15, yeah.
So she's like, "You did this to protect me," and he was like, "Uh-huh." And it's like really sad. He has like his little kitchen table and his plate, and he can look through and like see his family. And
It's
I was like,
very
this is
sad.
depressing. And like nobody, I
He
just
only
need
has
to-
rats to perform
I don't
for him.
think anybody looked for him. I think
No.
that they were just like, "Sayonara,
They were like,
Bruno."
"Oh, Bruno's gone." Sigh of relief, you know.
It's
Good
so
God.
sad. Also,
Which is
they're-
probably why he stayed in the walls, you know, because he saw them have that reaction. They were like, "Oh man, Bruno's gone. Let's just not talk about him and enjoy our lives without the
Good
prophecies
God.
of doom
Yeah, it's really
happening
sad.
all the time."
So
Even though apparently we be asking for him.
Right.
he says that his vision could go either way because the house is cracked and the house is not cracked.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really know. Isabella is like, well, Mirabelle's like, you're going to have another vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Antonio pops in. He's like, yeah, the rats told me everything. What's up? And
So
How can I help?
they
funny.
go to Antonio's room because it's like a big space and he has another vision.
Yes.
So there's like a couple things in this new vision that he sees. He sees a butterfly land on like a plant. So that's important later on.
Yellow
but then more
butterfly.
importantly, he sees Mirabelle hugging Isabella.
In
And
front of the candle.
she's like, are you serious? Like, you serious? I have to hug her.
You gotta
And
embrace
he's like, some
Isabella.
kind of embrace. I mean, if you think about it, she's now embraced Luisa and like the rest of the family and stuff like that. But she like hasn't had the heart to
A
heart with
one-on-one.
Isabella yet.
Yeah.
Isa, as they call her.
Which I won't even lie. At this point, I was like, oh my God, where are we going with this storyline? Because I was like, she's going to go hug her sister. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing... To me, it's becoming tropey where it's like true love's kiss, but you really are going to get the kiss from your sister.
right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
I felt like we were going to go there, and I was like, come on, I don't want to hear it. I get
Familial
it.
love is the most
Basically,
powerful
they just
type of
needed to
love.
have a
Whatever.
heart-to-heart.
I
or
don't do
whatever.
familial love,
So-
so move along.
So she goes to Isabella's room, and Isabella is like,
This
get
was
out of
so
here.
funny.
Unless you're here to say sorry to me.
Yeah.
And-
Apologize.
Apologize.
Because you ruined my life.
And then I think she gets really mad, and she's like, and I didn't even want to marry Mariano anyway. I don't even like him. And,
Right.
and Mirabelle's like, that's a really great confession.
Well,
When-
because she said she was selfish, and she's like, excuse me.
Selfish. I do everything. I have to be perfect all the time. And that
Yeah.
I think when she reveals that she doesn't even like Mariano is when the cactus pops up.
Yeah.
Right? When she tells that truth is when her gift expands.
Yes.
And I think in we don't talk about Bruno's song. she had said that Bruno told her that her powers would grow, and like this is it coming to fruition, which is another cool thing. So yeah, she sees this, and Mirabelle's like, "Oh, cool, let's hug it out now." And Isabel's like, "No, we gotta inspect this." So they sing the
She's
song.
like, it's time.
But I like that she's making like all these, not just roses,
Right.
You
Not
know what I
just
mean?
flowers.
And it's also like she's making like the native plants of like the area and stuff too.
Yeah.
But I told Emily this earlier. This is the one song I just like wasn't really feeling, and it's still not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite from the musical.
Yeah, I would maybe agree
Once
with
I
that.
was reading the lyrics on the screen this time, I was like, oh, there's sometimes she's speaking in Spanish, and some of the names of the plants I didn't know what they were. So like if you didn't know the lyrics, it was a little hard to like piece it together.
What's the one that I didn't know?
Jacarandas.
Jacaranda.
A hurricane of jacarandas. A hurricane of jacarandas. And
Yeah,
then
I'm not
strangling
how am I supposed
figs,
to know what that is?
hanging vines, and then palma de cera fills the air as I climb.
Yeah. So upon this viewing, I enjoyed it a little bit more. And it is cute that she's like, I owe it all to you, and Mirabelle's like, yeah, you changed my view as well. And they kind of have like a good heart to heart.
Ooh, a jacaranda is a very pretty flower.
Can I see? Oh,
pretty.
pretty ones. Actually, I think that this scene, maybe it's not the most beautiful of the movie, but it's definitely the most colorful. When
they're kicking the stuff
when
on
they're kicking the dust and the
dust
powder,
on the-
I'm like,
oh
oh
my
my
I think it's
god, the
supposed to be, like,
colors
pollen or
are popping right now. It's crazy.
It was very pretty.
Yeah.
It was
it
good
was very good
that they
looking.
had like their little. I was like, oh, good, she can like be normal now.
Well, and her outfit ended up looking so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it
how
was
it was
cool.
all the pollen colors all over the place.
Yeah.
And abuelita,
And the house,
abuela, whatever
all the
her name
cracks
is.
Went away. All the cracks went away.
Yes.
The
Right.
house was good.
Yeah.
But no, Abuela had to come in and ruin it.
And
What are
she
you
comes
doing?
in and she's so
mad.
She's like,
so
why
mad.
are you being a bad influence on her? Look at you, having her make all these things. These
Right.
aren't roses.
You ruined her.
Oh, and Mirabelle goes off. And I was so proud of her. I was like, get it, girl.
Which it totally sucks because you could see for the first time that Isabella
Isabella.
was like happy.
Right.
Like actually happy and not like pretending to be something.
Not kind of being full of herself
you
or
know,
whatever, you know.
she was just happy and living it
She
and
didn't have to be fake.
it
No.
was very apparent
Yeah.
and it just seemed like Abuela was like, oh, okay.
No,
Right, yeah.
Mirabelle
Bye.
literally tells off Abuela and is like, you've never cared about this family.
The miracle
like,
is
all of
dying
us are
because of you."
unhappy, and I'm trying to make them happy, and the miracle is dying because of you. And it was harsh.
So this
It was
is when
intense.
the house is like, well, I can't stay together anymore. And it begins to fall apart. Right? So it
Well,
starts-
if you're going to be dicks to each other, all right.
I'm like, okay, all right. You've upset Abuela.
Yeah,
you've upset
because
Casita.
now
Oh, yeah.
the first, if you think about it, she's been cool with all the other family now, but not Abuela. So now she has to do
Make her amends.
the thing with Abuela.
So
you know?
the whole
You got
house,
to break her.
Yeah.
the whole house. It shoves everyone out of the house except for Mirabelle. Mirabelle runs.
It tries to, but she runs on the
Right.
roof.
She runs up and tries to
Get the candle.
Tries to get the candle, which is slowly being extinguished, and is gonna go out.
Burns out, yeah.
She gets up to it. She takes the candle, and she saves it from being crushed or whatever. But even though she did that, it still goes out, and the house comes crumbling all the way down. And so Mirabelle, she's like, I failed. I didn't do it. The miracle has not been saved, and now we're
Well, and
now we
all
have
of their
nothing.
powers are gone.
Yes.
So I think Camilo's in the background being like, what do I do? What do I do?
Oh yeah, and their powers were really wonky while the house is falling down. And Camilo, he kept like shapeshifting into like a
a
giant
baby.
dude with a baby head.
It was weird.
Which is weird.
Yeah, that was very weird. And Luisa's just crying the whole
Yeah.
time.
Dude, I love Luisa. I'm weak.
So Mirabelle, she goes away. She
runs away
she
in the
walks
woods,
off into
in
the
mountain
woods.
or whatever.
And the rest of the family is worried about her. They're like, where'd Mirabelle
They're
go?
trying to-
All of a sudden.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now the house is broken. Now you want to care about somebody. Okay. I see.
So the person who ends up
I just want you
finding
back
her-
over here so that I could friggin' berate you.
The person who ends up finding her is Abuela. And it's at the river where they had to cross when she
originally found this place.
Which looks hecka far. Like, if
Yeah.
you look off in the distance, it looks very, very far from where they were.
It is far.
That's interesting.
And
So
she all of a
this
sudden
is-
knows where she is.
This scene, though, had me in tears. I was like, I do not like this. Disney. Thank you, Disney.
I like these emotions.
It was very good.
It was really good. Although it's still hard for me to forgive Abuela a little bit. Because
Right. So this
it's still hard for me, but I do get it.
this is where Abuela fully explains what happened when she originally got the miracle and how downtrodden and sad she was, but she had to pull through to protect her family and whatnot.
Yes.
And then also we see the butterfly land on the plant.
Which makes sense to me now.
Go ahead.
So I didn't understand the lyrics of the song. I didn't know it was about caterpillars and like a
Right.
cocoon and
Yes.
whatever. And so then when you see the butterfly at the end and they're all flying everywhere, this time it got me even more. I was like, okay, I get it. Like, my goodness, because I didn't know what the lyrics were. You know what I mean? But if you watch it with the subtitles on it, it gives you the English translation.
There's also an English version of the song.
and I skipped that too. I don't think I've listened to the English version.
I listened to both versions earlier today, and it is a very good song.
Yeah,
In the
it's sad,
interview I was watching with Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Did he write this song?
Yeah, he wrote this song. So he was saying that, like, he's usually very hard on himself, and, you know, he's been working on this music for the past 5 years before this movie came out. And so the interviewer asked him, like, when do you know that a song is, like, done? And he said that it was his family. He said he's got, like, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and if they like it, then he knows it's going to be good for a Disney song. But then also his wife is not a fan of musicals, which is hilarious.
Of all the people.
Yeah, I
All the
know.
people you
Is not a fan of musicals, but she said that this was the best song he's ever written. And so when she said that, he was like, "Okay, I guess it's good.
It's done.
I guess
That's
it's done."
that.
I mean, she's not wrong. It's a really good song, but
beautiful.
it just brings me to tears.
Yeah.
Well, and the
So-
guy who sings it,
Yeah, it's sung
Dos
by
orejitas.
Sebastian Yatra.
His voice is really good.
Yeah, I think they said that they for the musicians in the orchestra and the singers who aren't necessarily the actors, they tried to get as many authentic Colombian people to come in
That makes
and
sense.
perform the music so that it was authentic.
Yeah. Well.
and the
scene-
other guy is like the guy who sings the Columbia song. I
Oh my
don't know
gosh,
what it's
I
called.
love
Oh,
that
right,
song.
right.
That song is awesome.
I love that song.
When you put that on in the car, Olivia starts doing
Oh,
the
yeah.
shoulders and the
So
little
do I.
hands and stuff.
It's called Colombia Mi Encanto, and it's performed by Carlos Vives.
Yeah, so that
That's a
gentleman is a like Colombian legend. So
Me encantó.
yeah,
So okay, we get past this sad scene. She sees the butterfly.
Everyone cries.
She hugs Abuela.
They
Everybody
make up.
cries and they make up, which I would too. Like, that's a sad story. Maybe one that she should probably have told most of the people in her family about. It doesn't seem like the grandkids really
New
know about this
about
stuff.
that part
Like,
of her life. Yeah.
you know, and I mean, I guess I understand why you wouldn't want to. I love, though, like, in the scene where, you know, she's saying she thought she would have a different life or whatever, and she, like, tells her husband that she's pregnant, and I don't know what she does for it to be, like, 3 kids.
oh, it's like those little cutouts.
Yeah, what do you
Right.
call it?
Like the little
like
so
a
it's like-
accordion.
but not a...
Yeah.
It's like a silhouette of one baby or whatever, and then she pulls it out,
he,
and
like,
it's 3
faints.
babies. And he's oh my God.
I was like, that would have been you, babe. if I had
That's so
triplets.
cute.
Yeah, I'd still be asleep right now.
triplets,
I'd be knocked out.
Crazy.
There could still be 3 in there, and you just don't know.
Please. Oh my God.
I don't think so.
I don't
but
think so either. But
Yeah, you say that now. I'm sure everybody said that.
goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
yeah.
So, they go back to the village and
they sing
and the
that
house.
All of Me song.
Yes, they sing another song
This
about
home, we need a new foundation.
You don't have to sing the whole thing,
Yes,
Michelle.
I do.
It is 9:00 at night on a school night. Luisa's already asleep over there. Luisa is asleep.
Lisa's sleep.
so they sing this song and
Bruno comes
and
back.
during the song they decide that they're just gonna pick it back up right where they left off, even though they don't have their powers or any of the magic anymore. They're gonna rebuild the house and they're gonna do whatever it takes to get that done. The villagers all come. Yeah. They help too. They don't have any gifts, but they are many, and they can help with anything that they need and whatever.
Okay, Andre.
So they
He's been like, yeah, I'm telling you, he's been in my car. So I have to
Do anything for you.
so
Although
they,
I was a little bit judgmental that they were just like, "Hey Bruno, what's up? We love you." I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
y'all were dissing him yesterday.
they just don't talk about them, you know. They just don't. They just,
Maybe I love him
Well,
quietly.
The mom does. I think like Mirabelle's mom.
Yeah,
like
Julieta.
Miss Bruna a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And Peppa accepts
She didn't
him
ruin
again.
her wedding day.
Yeah, exactly. My wedding day was fine.
He didn't even ruin the wedding day. He just said that she was sweaty, I guess.
Dude, that was so funny when he's like, dude, let it go.
Let
it go.
But yeah, so they rebuild the house and they give
They rebuild the
Mirabelle
village as well.
a doorknob.
Oh, that's where I started crying.
When
Right.
we made a doorknob. Antonio, we made this one for you.
And then I was like, it's an M for Mirabelle. And Luisa's like,
for
no, it's for Madrigal.
Madrigal, yeah.
But I think it's for her.
I think it's
Both.
both. Yeah.
I think it's both.
Yeah, the M is
And she
is for both of them.
brings the magic back to Casita.
Yeah, so this was interesting to me, and I guess I couldn't remember from when I saw it in theaters, but I was expecting them all to get their powers back, and that Mirabelle would get powers as well.
Oh, you thought she was going to get it too?
Yes, I
No, I
had
knew she
misremembered, because as I was saying, this movie is an X-Men movie or whatever, right? But it also reminds me of the Disney Channel original movie Up and Away, where it's the black family.
we've done it.
And did we actually
do
do that
it?
for the podcast? I
No, we
don't think
didn't
did.
yet.
But
I've never seen that, so I have no idea.
It's a black family, and they're all superheroes except for the main character. He's the youngest kid, and he doesn't have any superpowers. And so the whole movie, he has to fight with the fact that he doesn't have powers and stuff like that. Very similar to this. But towards the end of that movie, when it's up to him to save the day, I think he does develop superpowers. So I think
you
I think
kind of
in my
always
mind-
assume that someone's getting powers at the end because
Right.
it's like the happy ending.
Yes, exactly. But in this, I mean that's not the way that it was presented to us. I don't know
But
if they're
she
going to do a
brought the
sequel
the
or something
magic
like that.
back to Casita.
But yes, she was the one who brought.
I
the
kind of
magic
like
back.
that she didn't get it though, because it shows that it's not about the magic.
Right.
It's about what you do with
And
yourself.
also,
Exactly.
guess who doesn't have magic? Abuela. So
Right.
she's going to be, I'm assuming she will.
She will grow up to be the new matriarch of this
Exactly.
family. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think she is the glue that holds them all together.
Together,
that is her gift. Indeed.
And maybe now that Abuela is cool with her, she can start teaching her that kind of stuff that
Sure.
she has to do and things like that.
Be a true leader, lady.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
what you do when you got 3 kids and no husband, okay? First, number 1, get a magic house.
Must be nice.
That's when that
Must be
Encanto
nice.
song plays, the Colombia one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
It also plays when they're getting ready for his little party.
for Antonio's
I
party.
like that song.
I liked it when everybody was partying in Antonio's room. Like that's
my
how big
God.
it was that they were all just.
I also liked
in there.
in the All of Me song when they introduced Dolores to Mariano.
Oh yeah, and she was like, "Hey, check this out."
He's like, "Let's get married." And
She's like,
"Whoa."
"Slow down."
And he's kind of crazy. Andre is making fun of him too.
I'm just so full of love.
Got so much love.
Oh my goodness.
He's funny. But yeah, it has a good.
Yeah, I
Happy
can't
ending.
stand that part where she's like, or he's like, I see you and I hear you. Like, okay. All right.
Little dramatic.
I puckered in a bad way. Like, ugh.
That's the end of the
No.
movie, right?
That's the end of the movie.
that's
Yeah.
the end of the movie.
How many hours are we in?
We're an hour 44.
Oh, God, it feels like 3. Okay.
This episode.
Wait, what is your favorite song? We established Em and Lou's.
I said it's
And mine.
it's between. We don't talk about Bruno and Surface Pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
The Luisa
Bruno
one.
just beats it out by a tiny bit for me
Yeah, I think.
because of the musical esque of it.
Right. I think that's the way I'm leaning to.
One, you can sing it in different ways if you're a singer. Like,
Right.
you get to
Every
be
time
funny, you get to be cutesy.
And every time I
Look at
sing
my
the round, I
hand.
still do Tia Peppa's part. And the other day I was like, why am I not singing the other parts in the round? But I just always go back to
It's because
Tia
you want to
Peppa's
say, we were getting ready.
part. She has the best part.
Rats so
wasn't-
long his back.
Oh, you should hear Luis. He goes, rats along his back. Like, he gets all crazy.
It's so funny.
I like that the in that song the cousins are the one who are telling Mirabelle about Bruno, and because it is Camilla who is transforming into him and describing his
He's a
physical
little-
features because he can
Yeah.
he can shapeshift or whatever, but also he was old enough to have seen him
To,
when
remember.
Well,
when
and
he
the
was
adults are
around.
just talking about what he did to them.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Like, okay, petty.
He's always told me bad stuff was about to happen.
Hilarious.
Now look at
this
my hair.
movie did come out exclusively in theaters for how many days?
45 days was in
45 days
theaters.
before it came on Disney Plus.
That is correct.
Which Andre is saying is that's kind of how
That's
it might be now.
That's going to be the standard for now going
well,
forward.
that's good.
I'm not
45
really
days.
mad about it,
Sometimes
honestly.
The movies would take 6 months to come out, so I
Right.
could watch it on video again.
Right.
On video,
Used-
you know what I mean.
Used to take much longer, but now the process has been expedited. Thanks, COVID. And so this movie had a budget of $150 million. It ended up with a worldwide box office of $228.4 million. So they made their money back on that, and then
And I mean, that's just for like the 45-day window, or is that
yes,
like
that's
to
for
date?
the 45-day
pretty good.
window.
It's not bad.
And it might be making
For a
money
pandemic
in smaller
movie?
theaters that it's still
Okay.
out in and stuff. But
Like the pandemic movies aren't making a ton of money in
Right.
the theater.
Yeah.
But this one, I think a lot of people went back for this one. Like, oh,
yeah, or if they didn't, then they watched it on Disney Plus when it came out, which
Yeah.
because it wasn't that much later, a month and a half after that.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, people were still hyped enough,
Mm-hmm.
and then it came out, and then everyone was able to like it at the same time.
Right.
Was this
That
the-
usually doesn't happen.
yeah. Was this the first movie that you went back to the theaters for?
We did not go twice. We almost did, but then we realized, like, okay, in 3 weeks,
about
it's
to come
going to be
out.
there.
So that's what I'm thinking.
No, I mean like
happened a lot.
when the pandemic ended, you couldn't go to the movies, right? Was this the first
Oh.
movie that you saw in the theaters again when you were able to go to the theater?
I want to say yes, but there might have.
Or was
to think.
Godzilla versus Kong like weirdos?
Yeah, we did see Godzilla vs. Kong.
I want to say yes, but there might have been one
Maybe
before.
there was one before, yeah. Because you guys went to see Spider-Man after, but that was after Encanto, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it was after.
So maybe that was the first one because I want to say I've only been twice. So
Yeah.
then, yeah, it probably was the
Yeah,
first
probably
then.
was. And it was her first movie, which is so
Yeah, she
I know
friggin' loved that.
that's really
That's a
cool.
really cool one to have as a first movie. That's a core memory. I don't remember my first movie.
I do remember mine, and it was The Lion King, which is my favorite Disney movie to this day.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you saying it's a core memory because that makes me happy, and you're probably right.
Yeah,
No, I really think
so.
it is because today when we were talking about it, she was like, "I saw it in the theater,
Mm-hmm.
and I got M&Ms." I'm
She
like,
was so
"She
happy
still
about
talks
it."
Yeah, she,
With her-
and
oh.
she said, "And Ollie went to your house because she was too little to go to the movies."
That's right.
She's gonna remember that she went with like just you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like that's really cool.
It's very cool.
Tomatoes.
On the tomato meter, this movie currently has a. Hang on a second. Let me get past the ads.
Well, in the meantime, while you're doing your I think that because we are at 800 hours, I think that I will post the Easter eggs
Okay.
Sure.
online.
Yeah.
There's some really cool ones that I bet you guys didn't see because when I read about them, I was like, shit, where?
The thing I say was that in your Easter egg thing or no?
I didn't read all the way through it because I
So
was
it might have
reading
been
through
in there?
some. Yeah, very well could have been. And it probably
That's the
is.
only one I know. So I'm excited to read the rest of them.
Yes.
I like Easter eggs.
I
It's
know
so
that there's
fun.
a Wally one in there, and I can't remember off the top of
in
my head.
Bruno's room.
Yes.
Rump. Okay. Well,
No tomatoes.
no, I have the tomatoes. It's just my ad blocker is being annoying at the moment. So on Rotten Tomatoes, this film currently has a 90% on the tomato meter.
Only 90? I
It's
thought it would be a little
certified
higher. Not
fresh,
gonna lie.
and it has a 93% audience score.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get
Which is the critics' consensus.
the critics' consensus back up here, because there we go. Get me out of there. Sorry, the website did not like that I have an ad block on. Sorry. So,
How
critics'
dare
consensus
you.
says Encanto's setting and cultural perspective are new for Disney, but the end result is the same: enchanting, beautifully animated fun for the whole family.
I don't know if we can call the cultural thing for Disney new now at this point. Like, I feel like Coco was like,
Coco was a Pixar movie.
oh, but Raya was Disney.
Yeah, different culture.
Okay.
You know, so
I had a hard time. Well, we talked about it in that episode. I had a hard time with that one because it was like a mix of cultures, and I
It
feel
was
like
a mythical
right.
place, right?
Yeah.
well, Well, that's my hard thing, is that I feel like they were trying to mix the mythical with the real, and didn't like.
That's true.
They didn't like fix on one, so they didn't do a very good job at like representing a culture. It was more like, let's just do those East Asian countries together.
Hey, can you throw an Asian filter over this movie? Let's just do that real quick.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know. This was like Colombia.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And they said that they went to like Bogota and a whole bunch of other places to do their research.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time in Colombia to
and I guess that's pretty common for them to do. But I appreciate that you could feel the Colombian nature in it.
Right. Oh, for sure.
And I still definitely am holding on to the belief that the people that were running them out of town were the cartels. Okay? Los narcos were up in there and they were running them out.
The 1800s cartels?
I don't care, okay?
They don't have cars here. They definitely only have horses.
Okay? I don't know what they were freaking...
Or could have been a revolution, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was a revolution on drugs.
Yeah,
it could have
It
been.
was a drug wars. Bringing in that guerrilla warfare, okay?
So we need to rate this movie.
Hang on 1 second. There is also an audience consensus that I didn't read. It says, whether you're looking for gorgeous animation, catchy songs, a heartwarming message, or all of the above, Encanto delivers. Oh, okay, that was it.
All right.
I will give this movie a 9.5.
9.5.
9.5.
Go ahead and kick the loo. Whoa, whoa,
Louis.
whoa, whoa.
I don't want to kick it.
Go ahead and kick
I gave this movie a 9.5.
Lou.
What are you going to give it?
It was his wedding day. He was getting sleepy and there was an open eye.
No open eyes in the house.
I don't think he's going to rate it.
He just covered his head with a blankie.
Give him some room to speak.
Okay, I hope you're thinking over there. Andre, go ahead and give your rating.
If Louis doesn't have a rating, I will give this movie a 9 out of 10. I think it's wonderfully crafted. I think it's one of the most beautifully animated movies from Disney that I've seen in a while. Like, Raya looks really good too, but I think this one stepped it up even a notch from that. I remember at one point I saw like all the hair on Luisa's arms when she was like giving Mirabelle a hug. I was like, oh my god, did they render
like
all those little hairs? Yeah, it was crazy.
They did.
It was crazy. And once again, all the colors throughout the entire movie were fantastic. And I love the performances. I think all of these songs were all performed very well by all of the actors. And like I personally didn't have a problem with Isabella. I think I didn't like her song quite as much as everybody else's, but I didn't have a huge problem with her voice from my listens. But you know, I'll go back.
Emily.
I really, really liked it. I think I'll give it a 9.5 as well. It was super awesome. And I love Andre's comment about it being one of the most beautiful he's seen, because I feel like we've said that multiple times now.
Yeah. And that keeps stepping it up.
But that's the hard thing. Like, at what point does it stop getting more beautiful?
I don't know.
You know, like maybe it's just going to be like, this is awesome in its own way. This is awesome in its own way, because it is so gorgeous. Yeah. And the attention to detail is unreal. Yeah. Like the stitching in her dress, just like the fabrics and I don't know. It's just so detailed.
Things that Disney does that I don't feel the same way about other.
Oh no, definitely not.
I feel like when Augustine gets stung by the bees, you can like see his pores all popping out on his big old ear and his big old nose.
Oh god, yes, and it's disgusting.
It's gross, but it's beautiful.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And those donkeys with their dang personalities. I'm sorry, so funny.
Luis,
so
do you
funny.
want to rate this, Luis?
9.
We got a 9.
We got a 9 out of him.
9.
Yeah, he
very
likes
good.
It. That's good. Jolly good indeed. All right, that has been our talk on Encanto. Next time on the Walt Vault, we're going to be discussing another movie that begins with the letter E.
But a Marvel one.
But a Marvel one instead. We are going to be talking about...
It's also on the Plus.
Yes, the new 2021 Marvel film, MCU film.
And hold on. Before you say the word.
Yeah.
Opposite of Encanto, where it was out in theaters and then everyone gravitated towards it. Opposite of that.
Yeah.
It was in the theaters and then...
Oh, it came out on Disney Plus already, huh? Oh, okay. Well, I'll get around to it.
Yeah, radio silence. And we'll get into why it was radio silent, but I'm going to give it another chance.
We're going to watch Eternals.
Internals.
Eternals, yes. Starring, who's in it? Richard Madden and Angelina
Peeps.
Jolie and Kumail Nanjiani. There's a whole bunch of homies in
I was mad Angelina Jolie was in here, and I'm sure we'll talk about
we'll talk about all
we
of
gotta
it.
have her face up and everything.
I like her.
I felt bad because my
I'm
mom,
sure you like her face.
Oh my gosh. My mom and dad hadn't seen Eternals or Shang-Chi yet, so they watched them pretty recently, but they watched Eternals first. And my mom called
Why?
me. She was like, I liked it. It was really good. La, la, la. And my dad was like, it's okay. Like, he liked it. And then Shang-Chi, my mom was like, that one was much better. I was like, Why'd you watch them out of order?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if the order matters, but I agree that I don't know.
It doesn't
I have
matter.
so many things to say because Luis and I literally watched it 2 days ago for the first time. And we will also obviously rewatch it because y'all
I
know
need
I
to
have the
rewatch it.
problems with watching something the first time and hating it, which I won't say I hated it, but I have my qualms, so I'm going to rewatch. But I
It
can't.
might be a heated discussion.
I can't say any. Well, is it heated if everyone agrees?
No.
We shall see. I need to watch it again. I haven't watched it since it has released on Disney Plus.
Did you guys watch it on?
We did go see it
the
in
theater.
theaters.
Okay.
And
So have you seen it twice then?
No.
No, I've only
We
seen it
didn't.
once.
It came out on Disney Plus, and we were like, whatever.
Yeah, I haven't.
Like
I haven't.
most people, like
gone
what you
back
said.
to it. So get hyped for all of that. If you've seen Eternals.
Well, I'm saying it because we did not hype the getting hype, okay?
But there are definitely things that I liked about it. So we'll
Who, Superman?
We'll discuss
The DC character?
We'll discuss all of it. in the next episode. Until then, you can keep up with us on
You can get married.
the internet. We are on social media
On the internet.
at the Walt Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go there, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of Encanto. Who is your favorite character? What's your favorite power? What gift would you have wanted? I think I would have been down with some shapeshifting. I'm pretty sure. I think that's the one I would have wanted.
Oh, there were no Superman flying characters in this movie.
That's all right. You can send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com.
You can send an email.
We will read that message on the show.
can't stop,
I
dude.
was about to start singing too. What else? You can support us. Make sure you're subscribed to the show on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. We're on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and TuneIn and all of the places. Make sure to leave a like and rating, especially on Spotify. That helps us get seen by more ears. And you can also support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/thewaltvault. If you want to get an unbleeped version of this episode, go there for that. That's where it will live, and it only costs $1. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. We will see you next time for some Eternals goodness. Some maternal goodness. The vault is now closed.